FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Fasig-Tipton.
Day 6 of the Breakfast Show, and there's only one story anybody can talk about. We have breaking news on whether Sovereignty will run or not, and we start the show today from the barn of Bill Mott. It's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. Welcome to Del Mar, and there's a little bit of a fog hanging over the racetrack this morning, and there's a story that's been hanging over the racing world the last 24 hours. We check in with our reporter right off the top, Scott Hazelton, standing by at Bill Mott's barn. Scott?
Yeah, Michael, David Grenning of the Daily Racing Form first to report the news that Sovereignty will not run in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Obviously, we had the opportunity to speak to Bill Mott yesterday during the morning show, during the breakfast show, about the development of this horse spiking a fever. Bill Mott is currently out on the track with his other Breeders' Cup contender in Scylla. We're expected to be able to catch Bill around 9 a.m. Pacific time to discuss this. If we have an opportunity to get an update prior to that, Michael, we will do so here at the Bill Mott barn. But we know that Sovereignty will not be competing in the marquee race on Saturday in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
It looked like it was going to be the race of the century, one of the great Breeders' Cup Classics of all time with so much star power. You would think, if one of them scratches, it'll still be great. But Sovereignty defecting is such a gut punch. Simon, so many questions will not be answered, whether he can beat the older horses, whether he's a generational talent, whether or not he is going to be Horse of the Year, etc. We have a great event in front of us. But right now with this news, how does it feel to you?
Yeah, I mean, it takes something away from what was marked or built to be one of the best Breeders' Cup Classics we've seen in 20 years. And to your point, taking one horse out, you think there's still enough depth in the field that it wouldn't affect the race. But it's the morning line favorite. That's what you have to take away. The morning line favorite here has just presented him so well here through the first 5 days of breakfast at the Breeders' Cup, and given everybody here and everybody at Del Mar, an inkling that he was going to really run a big race on Saturday. So it's just unfortunate circumstance, bad timing. I feel very bad for the connections, and decisions going to be made now, whether he goes to stud or stays in training. So that's probably the next decision, because there's no big race in the next 2 months that he can run it. It just isn't.
And Joe, from the connections that are scratching to the connections still in the race, I mean, you're a competitor. You've been in big races. You've been in grade ones. You've been at the highest levels of this game. When the number one contender scratches out, as a competitor, you want that horse to be against you. You want to be able to beat that horse and say, hey, I did it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to Simon's point, this was marked out to be one of the best classics ever, and for Sovereignty to be out, not only do you feel bad for the connections, but the other connections as well. They wanted a shot at him, especially Journalism, who lost to him quite a few times, Baeza, and I mean, it's really just sad for everyone.
I mean, it just underscores how hard this game is. We keep saying it as someone who's been on that side of the fence, in the early part of my career. It's just, of all the things that could happen, of all the timing it could happen, just a little fever.
And Joe, this happened to you with I Want Revenge in the Kentucky Derby, scratched right before it. What do you put us in the mind of Junior Alvarado right now, because he has other mounts in Breeders' Cup that he's got to worry about, but just the devastating blow of losing the best horse you've ever been on.
I would say from personal experience, you're in shock a little bit, because I mean, that sometimes you'll hear rumors and rumblings and stuff, and for Junior, obviously he heard yesterday that he had a fever, so he was hoping that everything would be fine. But I mean, I'm sure you're in a little bit of shock, because I mean, we could speak on it. He was doing so good, working, galloping and everything, and then you get that gut wrench. But as an athlete, it's hard to do, but you have to put it behind you because you have other mounts that day, and you have to be 100% on top of those as well. So it's not an easy thing to go through at all, but you just have to power through it.
And trainer Bill Mott, he has a job to do right now. We're going to take a look at him. He's on the track right now, ponying Scylla out there. He has to worry about those horses that are running at this point. The media, us included, are going to be inundating him with questions and putting a microphone in his face. As you can see, Scylla out there on the track. And Bill he's got to compartmentalize, much like Junior has to, and keep his mind on the horses that are running and what he has to do going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy morning for him. I will say that is one good thing about horses. I feel like you can kind of get away from everything. It sounds silly to say, but he's probably at ease, I would have to think, just being out on the track with another horse, just to try and get his mind off of it as much as he can.
When you sit on top of the pony, nobody can talk to you. It's a great escape. It's a great place to go. And look, and the positive side of it, he's got other horses to run. The worst thing is to come out with just Sovereignty, and you scratch and you got nothing. So he's got other things to take care of. He's Bill's been down this road before. It's unfortunate timing. I mean, there's nothing complicated to it. Horse got a fever, didn't recover, and he's going to be out. So the next thing will be getting him well enough to be able to ship back east and decide what they're going to do.
As a trainer, what's more frustrating, when it's something you can't control, like spiking a fever, or something you can't control that you missed?
I think it's something that you can't control. Obviously, I always say this: training horses, you've just got to eliminate the things that can go wrong. I mean, that's what Bill always taught me from a get-go. There are multiple things that can go wrong. You just have to eliminate things that can go wrong out of your control. But something like this, it's just so unfortunate. It really is, and I feel sorry for him. But that's where we're at.
I mean, if there is a positive, at least it's not a serious injury. I mean, a fever you can hopefully get over more than a serious injury.
I mean, and it underscores the care these horses get, having the temperatures taken. There's a couple of things to positive. They found it 4 days ahead of time. Sometimes, taking temperatures is key, because some horses, like a human, he'll have a 98.4. Some humans might have a 99.1. You don't know the benchmark. So taking these temperatures every morning, it gives you a good foundation, a good benchmark. So he knew he spiked right away, and it didn't go missed, and if he'd run with this, he probably, nothing bad happens to him, but you just don't perform your best. It's like
nothing bad happens unless you count losing as bad.
Yeah.
Because that probably happens. He probably loses if he has to run with a fever. If it happened the day of the race and they don't know, and he's got a little viral infection. It hasn't caused the fever yet, but he's not feeling 100%. At any rate, I do want to say, though, it is great to be in this new day and age of racing where safety is paramount. I think Bill Mott would have caught this 20 years ago as well. He's such a careful horseman. But now this is the rule, not the extra careful guy. Everyone is the extra careful guy now. Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Mike, Simon, Joe, obviously gutting news about Sovereignty, but as you guys said, horses first, and Bill Mott has displayed nothing but the best horsemanship throughout this entire week and always, so to no surprise, Sovereignty's health is the most priority. With that being said, we still have a lot to look forward to this morning here on the breakfast show. Todd Pletcher's Breeders' Cup Classic set all went out and stood at the gate this morning. This is part of his regular race day routine, so we will catch up with Todd later to see how Mind Frame, Fierceness, and Antiquarian did after they galloped as they stood in the gate. But something else to look forward to, around 8 o'clock, 8:30, Carlos Quevedo, the exercise rider for Ted Noffey, has been so kind to wear the jockey cam, and Ted Noffey is going to be standing in the gate later. So we will get a full view of that jockey cam perspective of his gallop and standing in the gate. And of course, we will catch up with Todd later on, Caden.
Yeah, Andy, Chad Brown is actually stabled on the backside in the same barn with Bill Mott. Mott and Chad both returned from the track with their most recent trainees, and right now Chad has had a long conversation with Bill, expressing some condolences, obviously, about the situation with Sovereignty, Bill staying on the pony. Chad, with 7 Breeders' Cup horses to train, Village Voice just got back, and right behind me, Sierra Leone, just hanging out. Obviously, his status, not only as defending race champ in the Classic, but also as a very good horse at the top of his division in his own right, moving up. But despite that fact that it's an easier race without Sovereignty, no question about it, everyone feeling all the same pain that the Mott camp is feeling. They looked forward to the opportunity to compete against the very best, and all the trainers knowing it can easily change so quickly heading into big races like the Breeders' Cup. Michelle, it's just a reminder of how hard it is to actually even get into the starting gate.
I think that sentiment is echoed many, many times. Just to get in the gate is a challenge. We've actually been posted up here outside of Journalism's barn, the barn of Michael McCarthy, and we've since missed them, but they were walking around here. We had him and Formidable Man and Nakatoni all out for a stroll. Him and Journalism and his stablemate Formidable Man have since headed out to the racetrack to do their bit of training, but we're going to hang around here, talk to some of the connections, and get their reactions on the loss of sovereignty. Going to head it back over now to the set, guys.
Michelle, thank you very much, and thank you, Caton and Andy, for the updates as well. We're going to talk about sovereignty a lot because we're all trying to wrap our heads around this. I might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, Simon, but I know you vote for Horse of the Year on the Eclipse Awards. What does the Classic do now without sovereignty in it? Because he was in the catbird seat for Horse of the Year.
Right.
He very may well still be Horse of the Year, even without a appearance in the Breeders' Cup. But a horse like Sierra Leone, a horse like Journalism, a horse like Fierceness, if one of these horses wins the Breeders' Cup Classic, is there a chance they could steal Horse of the Year honors away from sovereignty?
Yeah, I mean, this race was designed to wrap up year-end honors, right, and really crown the champion. So, yeah, I think it throws that conversation into a little bit of chaos. You know, there'll be some sentiment for trainer Bill Mott and what he went through. I think, you know, it all depends on who wins the race. I mean, if Journalism wins this race by 2 or 3, everyone's going to be sitting in the grandstand and say, well, Sovereignty could have won by, you know, he beat him by 5 or 6. So, yeah, it really upends the conversation. There's no question about that.
But what about a horse like Fierceness, winner of the Pacific Classic and the Breeders' Cup Classic? He would be a 3-time Grade 1 winner this year, or a 2-time Grade 1 winner this year. He'd make, I don't know, like $4.5 million.
Beat a Preakness winner.
Beat a Preakness winner, right? You know, a horse like Sierra Leone. I mean, he's only won one other time this year, but he won the Whitney and he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think those are the ones. Forever Young, he's not run in the U.S., so I don't think he would get Horse of the Year honors. But it really does make you think. Right now, let's check in with Scott Hazelton as he's caught up with the Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott.
Yeah, Bill, you told us that if things came back overnight or at any point from when we last spoke to you that you would go ahead and scratch. Is that what happened?
Right. Yeah, I said if he respikes another fever, he'll be out of the Breeders' Cup. And yesterday afternoon about 3 o'clock, he respiked another fever, even though he'd had some medication in him from 6 o'clock that morning. He respiked another fever, and we retreated him. And, of course, now he's on antibiotics. Seems to be doing well this morning. His temp's down to just 1 tick above normal, and he looks bright and looks pretty good. But he's definitely out of the Breeders' Cup. I mean, there's no, you know, he'll be scratched.
Have you seen any change in his demeanor at all?
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, he still has not missed a note. He's in his hay bag. He eats all the hay and alfalfa that's on the ground, and he goes to his hay bag, and he's got his nose in there, and he seems to have a good attitude. I mean, he doesn't, I don't know if he knows he's sick.
How do you process this with the timing of it and everything? Is there anything that you can look back on or just rely on from your experiences?
There's nothing that I would have changed. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, when it comes to something like this, I think it's just really bad luck. I think you've got viruses and bacteria floating around through the air, and for whatever reason, his immune system probably didn't battle it off, and you know, it's just really bad timing for us. I mean, you know, we would love to run. We'd love to showcase our horse. I know there was a lot of people that were really looking forward to seeing him run, as well as our entire team. I mean, we were very anxious and excited about the opportunity to run, and probably what is, you know, shaped up to be probably one of the best, you know, Breeders' Cup Classics in some time, or arguably that way. And but we won't have that opportunity this year.
You still obviously have Scylla here and getting her ready for the Breeders' Cup, but when it comes to sovereignty in these days, and then once the Breeders' Cup wraps up, will he go back to New York? Will he go back to Kentucky? What will be the plan?
It's always been the plan for him to go back through Kentucky. You know, we want to send him back there until a final decision is made on whether or not he's going to race next year or not, and that's where he'll go. I mean, right now he's scheduled to go back to Kentucky on like Monday or Tuesday.
Does that require a huddle with the team at Godolphin in determining what will happen in 2026?
Yes, absolutely. You've got over here, you've got Dan Pride, Michael Banahan, and of course in Dubai you've got Sheikh Mohammed himself, and I'm sure they'll all be, you know, putting their heads together and deciding what they're going to do, and the final word will be from Sheikh Mohammed.
We appreciate the update. Unfortunate news, Bill, but you're doing right by the horse, and we carry on.
Hey, thank you. Hopefully we'll be back.
Thank you, Bill Mott, for being so forthright and speaking with us. Great work by Scott there. Great interview. Just such unfortunate circumstances. I have friends who are not horse racing people that have just texted me like, "Oof, this really takes something out of it." I mean, that gives you an idea of the star power that he has. Yes, he's a Derby winner, obviously the Belmont winner, but he was a horse that was crossing over into mainstream media.
Yeah, and Bill gets it. He's been there. I mean, go back 30 years with Cigar, right? He understood what that did to the public long before the days of TikTok, Facebook, social media. And you referenced in the interview there, you're seeing a trainer now that he's changed so much over the years with the media, very forthright. He understands the importance of this horse. He realizes there were a lot of fans that were literally flying here just to watch Sovereignty.
Just to see Sovereignty,
He gets it. So he's forthright, honest, and I mean, like he said, there's nothing but bad luck, just unfortunate timing.
So now we're going to look at the field. Morning line favored out. So the morning line is completely scuttled as things stand right now. As Sovereignty is out, it looks like Fierceness will be favored.
Yeah,
that would be my
Probably.
guess. But it changes things a lot. Forever Young is the third choice on the morning line now, second choice. I feel like Sierra Leone gets a ton more play now because people can zero in on last year's Classic winner, but the wagering is going to be very different than what we expected.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, to your point, Sierra Leone won this race last year, and he's 8-1. And Mind Frame Journalism coming into this race really good at 10-1. I mean, as far as a betting race, I feel like you are going to get good odds, although they will change drastically.
The biggest overlay on that board right now is Baeza. I was shocked when he was at 15-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the morning line. I think that he's going to run better than a 15-1 shot, especially now.
My problem with Baeza, I love him. I think he's a tremendous horse. I just don't know that he punches at home. I think he's going to be bet underneath far more than he's going to be bet on top.
Hey, he is improving, though. I mean, we've seen
the Pennsylvania Derby, he punched it home.
Yeah,
that's
race after race, he really is a horse that is starting to peak, and I think 1.25 miles will be good for him.
Well, Sovereignty's rival, and I know the gamesmanship from Eclipse Thoroughbreds and Don Alberto Stable and all the owners of journalism and Michael McCarthy. They didn't want to see Sovereignty scratch. They wanted to get the best of him. It might seem like good fortune as we see journalism in the gate as we speak. This is a live look. It might be good fortune in the minds of some people that they don't have to face Sovereignty again, but you know they wanted to beat him.
Oh, for sure. They definitely wanted a crack at him. Sovereignty obviously beat him in the Kentucky Derby, so they wanted another crack at him, so we will just have to wait.
As we get a good look at him, he looks like $1 million. He's always been easy on the eyes. He's always carried himself brilliantly in the morning, whether he's just in a little bit of a jog like that or whether he's blowing out into a work or a little gallop, as we'll see here.
He looks like an absolute tank with his neck bowed right there. And it's just so cool to see him doing the breakfast show, watching him work and gallop. He looks so good, but I mean, it's crazy to say he looks even better now.
He does. I mean, he looks tremendous. And obviously he's going to be a little more aggressive going to the gate. This just gets in his mind, what the work's all about. But look at him there. Got that cross noseband on, figure 8 noseband, just to keep his mouth shut.
I'm so excited to see the tactics of journalism with Jose Ortiz being aboard, just to see if they are going to try and keep him closer or not, because we touched on that a little bit earlier on with horses. Some horses that like to lay back, if you try and keep them close, sometimes it takes away from their kick,
Right.
and other times on the opposite side, they still have that kick. So it is going to be interesting tactics-wise.
I mean, I don't know what the plan is with journalism, but you would think making that rider change, that there's something they wanted to do different. And it has to, the only thing I can imagine is having him laying a little closer, to your point. But, I mean, how aggressive are they going to be out of the gate? I think it's something to watch on Saturday as the horse comes out of the gate.
That's what I'm excited to see.
Does Jose get down and just shove him hard for a couple of 100 yards and then maybe put him in the race? Or does he try and the horse won't? you know, place himself more forward and just have to sit and suffer and get the same sort of trips he's been having, which have been, the results have been okay.
Yeah. But right here, this guy, this is exactly what you want to see right before a big race. His energy is so good.
Yep.
And especially to Mike's point, or to your point, out the gate, they are going to be a little bit aggressive early just because they kind of know it's go time. But this is the exact sort of energy you want to see right before a big race.
Aggressive in a good fashion. Obviously, the temperature's a little cooler here this morning. That'll make a horse jump into the bridle a little bit as well when they feel that cool air as well. So
there's a look at journalism as we speak with the, I mean, this is something out of a movie. Come on, a cinematographer couldn't get this shot with the sun rising up and the elongated shadows of the...
I was going to say, it's perfect on him.
Oh, it looks, it's just gorgeous. As journalism's finishing up his gallop here, all systems go for the favorite from this year's Kentucky Derby, the Haskell and the Preakness winner. He is a classic winner, a tremendous horse, and he is going to be a shorter price than we expected come Breeders' Cup Classic. Let's check in with Michelle Yu once again.
Well, I'm joined right now by Aaron Wellman of Eclipse Thoroughbreds, and he was actually interference. I was on my way to Michael McCarthy's office, and literally Michael just went like this and shoved Aaron in my way. It was like throwing you to the wolves. That was so unnice of him.
I mean, I'm kind of built like a fullback, so got to take one for the team.
I appreciate you stepping in there. I'm still going to find Michael McCarthy later on. Big news this morning with Sovereignty being out of the Breeders' Cup Classic. What does that mean for you? Is it a positive, or do you feel like I really wanted some redemption?
Look, my heart goes out to those connections. They've had an incredible year, and honestly, you just hate to see it. We all work so hard to get to this point all year long, and to have it taken away from you 72 hours before the Breeders' Cup Classic after the season Sovereignty's had is just crushing. So for me, the only sentiments I have are just kind of a pit in my stomach, because we all know how delicate these situations are and how quickly it can be taken away from you, and it can happen to anybody. So honestly, just thinking about him, and now just trying to focus on our horse, and hopefully everything goes smooth for everybody and we get as many healthy horses into the gate as we can.
Well, I know Sadie's been here watching journalism every single day, because she's beat me out to the barn, right? But you, Eclipse, have like 76 horses running in the Breeders' Cup. Can you kind of run us through some of your other contenders here that aren't getting as much attention as journalism?
Yeah, actually just two other fillies that run against each other in the juvenile fillies on Friday. A little bit more seasoned filly in Levi Lumiere, who was third in the Oakleaf last time. We feel like she's a really progressive filly that kind of was a victim of her own success early by breaking her maiden so early in the season and not really having too many places to go. So we needed to figure out the path to get to where we will be on Friday, and hopefully she's hitting her stride for Michael here pretty well. And then a really unexposed filly called Meaning, who's just run once. It's a really ambitious game plan for us, but she's a daughter of Gunrunner that we've thought very highly of from day one, and she broke her maiden first time out sprinting, going 6.5 at Los Al, which isn't a conventional path to get to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, but she was like 1 week behind running at Del Mar, which would have allowed us to run in the Oakleaf as the traditional prep, but just wasn't quite there. So since that debut, we've been pointing for this, and she's trained brilliantly, and what she lacks in seasoning, hopefully she makes for a natural talent.
In theory, you could have split them up, right? Levi Lumiere has some turf form.
She does, yeah. She's kind of a tweener, and we were forced to decide which race to go in, and with the turf being a 14-horse field and the dirt race being 8 or 9, depending on her status, we were just a little concerned about post position compromising Levi Lumiere if she didn't draw well. Last year with Vixen, we drew 13, and that was kind of a over before it started situation, so we decided to go in the dirt. Her dirt form is solid, and it's a wide open race on Friday, and she's in with a puncher's chance.
You guys have had big success at Del Mar with the Breeders' Cup. Let's go back to Aloha West and just relive that moment for me.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. You know, just sort of a horse that came from out of the clouds, both figuratively and literally.
Do you remember walking with me outside the paddock? And I was like, Aaron, let's talk about your horse because he looked so good training. And you were like, this horse actually has a chance. And you told everybody on the breakfast show this horse was legit.
Yeah, he was flying in way under the radar that week. And, yeah, I remember paddock schooled him before he trained one morning, and you happened to be out there. And he was touting himself. I didn't have to do the talking for him. And thankfully, he showed up with the goods on Breeders' Cup Day.
I'm going to go stand outside the paddock and see your horse's school today, and so I know which one's touting itself.
Please do that.
Thanks for the time, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Michelle.
And if you'll remember on that photo for Aloha West, they went down to the shutter cam, and on shutter cam it looked like Dr. Schivel won. Even the shutter cam had Dr. Schivel in front. It wasn't until they had that photo. It was the narrowest of margins. And I was gutted for Mark Latt and that company, but I felt so great for Wayne Catalano. Excellent horseman. And he might have he might have a Charlie Appleby-like percentage in the Breeders' Cup because he only comes with runners.
Yeah, no, he really does. Dreamin' Havana, I think was one of his first ones. And yeah, that's very high percentage.
By the way, you have to catch Wayne Catalano after he wins a Breeders' Cup race, because he is the dancingest fool I've ever seen in my life. We were at it was like the Grey Goose Breeders' Cup party when they were a sponsor back in the day up in Santa Anita after Dreaming of Anna won. He was on the dance floor, I'm not kidding you, for like 3 hours straight. He never left.
Really?
You want to talk about cutting a rug.
The cat man.
Yeah, and he cooks, he trains, and he dances. I mean, if that's not a renaissance man, I don't know what is. We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll have more from day 6 of Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. The sun has risen, although the chances on Sovereignty going into the Classic have been reported to be nil, as he is a late scratch from the biggest race of the weekend.
Rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya ever gonna get from rewards that start day one. So we're calling all, trillionaires, calling all, trillionaires, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Welcome back. Good look at the breakfast marquee. They put it up every year, but every year we have the Breeders' Cup here. We get just as excited. That is easily the best breakfast/coffee that you'll get any time of year at a racing facility.
Yes, it is. And breakfast, too.
If you ever make it out and you have connections that are in the races, it's fantastic. Matt Dinnerman, the track announcer from Oaklawn, is announcing the horses as they come out onto the track in their saddle towels for their gallops and whatnot. It's really, truly a great experience. We'll have Drew Fleming on later today. We'll talk about the entire Breeders' Cup experience, not just here at Del Mar, but in the years coming up, because we have a couple of good ones in front of us next year at Keeneland and 2 years at Belmont Park. But first things first, we have a horse on the turf course as Argine getting ready to roll here. There was a little bit of action out there on the Jimmy Durante turf course. And let's take a look once again at the work animation, Simon. You pleaded hard for this because you wanted to really give people at home a perspective. And look, I've been doing this my whole life, and it helps me as well, what these works look like. This is a 5/8 work, and there's the scale of times on the bottom.
Yeah, left-hand side, 1:04. A minute and 4 seconds would be a very slow 5 furlongs work, and a 58 just shy of a minute would be very fast. Now, a couple of things you have to take into consideration here on the turf course. One, the cones are out, the dogs in the parlance and racetrack, as we like to say. So the horses are galloping or training way on the outside. And number two, as we've spoken about with the Japanese horses, they'll do a little blowout a couple of days before the race. This horse worked 5 furlongs in 1:10 and 3, or 1:10 and 6100.
That sounds the exact opposite of a blowout.
Yeah, exactly. That's extremely slow. Remember, I marked 104 was slow. So, but you have to take into consideration it's Wednesday. He's running on Saturday. All this is, I touched on what a 2-minute lick was. Again, another racetrack term. That's galloping a mile in 15. Every eighth of a mile is 15 seconds, and that's basically what he's doing here.
Yeah, and especially this is about all you would want to do.
Yes.
3/8 out, just kind of a glorified quick gallop, just kind of stretch his legs over the turf. You could see Frankie just really trying. You could see his head's kind of lean to the right. Just trying to get him to settle down a little bit. But yeah, 3 days out, you don't want to do anything crazy. I mean, at most, I know some guys who maybe do like a quick blowout, maybe quarter mile, 3/8 or something, and then pull him up right away. But yeah, this is just a glorified leg stretcher.
Just to get his feel over the track.
Well, let me ask you this, because we're putting up the time as if it were a work. 104 you have as a slow work. This is 33 lengths slower than that. What's the difference between a slow work like this and just a regular gallop?
This is a gallop. This wouldn't even register as a work in the United States.
Okay.
Okay? They wouldn't mark this down. They wouldn't mark it down as a 5 furlong work.
I mean, visually, just look at him. It's pretty much a gallop, a quick gallop.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because I've always had the opinion that training horses is more art than science, right? I mean,
for sure.
There's dozens and dozens of different formats and ways to train a horse, and all trainers have their own specific touch. But you see just the massive difference from how they train in Japan to how they train in the U.S., and yet come race time, the results are the same.
Yes.
And Simon makes a great point, too. I don't know if it's 104 and change or 105, but at some point, they won't even give you a recorded workout if it's too slow.
So now we have Salawi on the turf. Getting a good look at Salawi, who's in Breeders' Cup turf. 30-1 morning line, so one of those horses that's a little bit on the outside looking in. But
yeah, coming off that nose victory in the Canadian International at Woodbine, he was 10-1 that day. So yeah, bit of a long shot, but he's another one just going out for a leg stretcher. 3 days out, not looking for anything too intense.
So 52-4, the clocking for the 4 furlong drill. So another one that's somewhat pedestrian.
Yeah, so this actually would register barely, I think, as a slow half-mile work, but this is going to be a little quicker than what you saw with the horse that we've just shown you. And look, he had no Breeders' Cup turf form up until, what, a month ago? I mean, he just wasn't in the same realm as some of these. I mean, he's running in the Royal Hunt Cup. That's a massive handicap at Royal Ascot, the Chesterfield Cup. I mean, those races aren't, stepping stones to the Breeders' Cup turf. But what's happened in his last 2 starts, he won a 1.25 mile race as when they stretched him out at the Winter Hill Stakes in Windsor, and he won the Canadian International barely by a nose. So, I mean, he's going to be a massive number. He's 50-1 or higher, but good-looking individual. He's by well-bred 5-year-old gelding.
As we get a good look at him, once again, just a nice and easy 52-4, 4 furlong gallop here, and getting around the dogs. I mean, they all look like $1 million. I mean, this horse is very well-bred. He's a 5-year-old gelding that's done up to Bowie. He's supposed to look like $1 million. And yeah, you talk about the campaign to get here. It's been a little spotty, to say the least, but he really opened up some eyes in the Canadian International, also because he beat Tawny Port, and Tawny Port is a proven commodity here in the U.S. for Miguel Clement.
And you can see his body language there, too. Nice and easy. That's probably exactly what they wanted, only being 3 days out. Not a huge gallop out there, so I think that time's perfect, being that close to the race.
Salawi, once again, this is a live look here on the turf course at Del Mar. As we check in right now with Andy Biancone.
Rich Mendez from More Play Racing. Rich, so exciting to see she's so spicy training. She's been looking excellent. How do you feel like she's doing coming into her race?
I mean, look, after the Kentucky Downs, she came out of the race really, really well. And everything points to her doing the same thing. She's been training really, really well. Jose has her feeling really good this morning. Watching her gallop this morning was nice because, she's on her toes. She's asking the rider she wants to go. So all systems go, so to speak.
She's one of the fastest fillies in the world. I cannot wait to see her cut back to 5 furlongs. But More Play Racing also has some exciting stuff going on. I know you guys are founding a new charity called the Always Dream Foundation.
Absolutely. We're kicking it off sometime in January during the Pegasus. And it's a little bit of kind of a spider web, right? Some of it is going to go back to the horse care, some of it to children. So we're excited about it, giving back. We did some stuff in Saratoga already, so that's also a priority of ours.
And when is the launch of this foundation?
In January, sometime in January during the Pegasus. We'll have a huge pickleball tournament, so if you guys play pickleball and want to support the foundation, come out and hang out with us.
Rich, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck with She's So Spicy this week, and of course looking forward to see the start of Always Dream Foundation.
We're excited to see her and also excited about the foundation. Thank you.
Rich Mendez always giving back, and also the Breeders' Cup charities giving back as well. Keep in mind, any of the merchandise that is purchased through Breeders' Cup goes to charity.
Scott Hazelton can't wait for the pickleball tournament. Did you? I mean, he must have been skipping around when he heard that.
I bet. Scott can play, too. I think he's better than you.
Are we bragging about pickleball skills?
Yeah.
I think he's ranked to 3, if you know what that means.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, he went all in on the pickleball. At any rate, thank you so much. It was a great interview there as we continue here from breakfast at the Breeders' Cup. And here is She's So Spicy. We were just talking about her. Let's take a look at her. This is from earlier today as She's So Spicy made her way out onto the racetrack. There is Under the Cover of Darkness, Jose D'Angelo's charge here, 6-1 in the turf sprint.
Yeah, she's sharp right now, coming off that win at Kentucky Downs, and she's quick, too. She's definitely going to have to be out the starting gate, drawing that 10 post, going 5/8. Right? We talked about the turn comes up pretty quick, so she's definitely going to have to use that speed to her advantage and try and get over it and not be too wide.
I mean, she's only had one bad race, and that's when she shipped halfway around the world to Royal Ascot, didn't show up, and then she came back and showed that it was none the worse for wear with that win last time out. So she's a very fast filly, a very consistent filly, taking on older horses for the first time. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
She's So Spicy earlier today on the racetrack. So right now we are about half an hour into the show. We've already had breaking news on Sovereignty. We've gotten a good look at a couple other contenders, checked in with some owners. I think we're done. See you guys later. All right, we're out. Kidding. We're not out. Let's take a quick look at that breakfast marquee. They are preparing your egg whites and caviar. The avocado toast was to die for. But the baristas they brought in are tremendously talented.
Can't wait for an omelet after.
That marquee, though, this time of year, it is a who's who of racing. It is wild. You walk up there, you can see anybody from the people from Coolmore to the trainers from the East Coast to those trainers that have that one-time chance in a lifetime, one horse to bring them there. And look at that backdrop.
That shot, yeah.
That view never gets old.
It's old, no. You see the waves crashing up on the shore there?
Somebody on the website formerly known as Twitter said the Breeders' Cup should never be at Del Mar. You, my friend, are what we refer to in the industry as being wrong. That is just the most gorgeous setting. Look, I would love to call Del Mar home. I kind of imagine it as my home. My goal in life is to live down here full time, but this is one of the great venues, and it's been a new era of Breeders' Cup the last 15 years, or last 10 years really, since 2015. They had their first Breeders' Cup in 2015 at Keeneland, their first one here in 2017, and now those two tracks have been the regular rotation over the last decade. And I will quibble with that none, because I think these are just tremendous, tremendous days when we have the Breeders' Cup here in Southern California. Let's check in with Kate and Bradar.
With Kenny McPeek, who's Blackout Time and Mystic Dan were early birds out already. How is everything going?
Easy peasy. I mean, both horses doing super. We let them jump away from the pole kind of quick this morning, especially Mystic Dan, because that dirt mile's a little tricky going into the first turn, and then Blackout Time the same. But tomorrow we'll go a little bit lighter with them, maybe just 1 and 1. But both horses are doing super. I mean, couldn't be more excited.
For the benefit of those who might not understand, when you say away from the pole a little quicker, what exactly does that mean?
Well, so you can start a horse off slowly and light gallop, and then pick it up as it goes. But in the case of both these races, I think positioning is going to be a big deal, especially with Mystic Dan, because the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile is a one-turn, tricky into the first turn. And fortunately, we drew inside, or 4. But if you dawdle away from the gate, you can get in a bad spot. And I do think the Dirt Mile's a race that you're going to have the trip, and timing's everything. But just wanted to reiterate to both colts that, hey, leave there. So that's what Danny did this morning.
Blackout Time is a 2-year-old and strikes me as kind of an old soul. I mean, he's still got a little bit of the youngster about him, but at the same time, he's always seemed very mature. Is that what you have felt about him?
Probably one of the most exciting young horses I've ever brought to Breeders' Cup. I think this horse is, if he has a really good next 6 months or a year, I think you're going to be hearing and reading a lot about him. He wants to run all day long. You're right, he is ultra smart, really kind, sweet horse for a colt. Most of them can be a little nippy here and there, but he could very well take us right back to the Derby that Mystic Dan's already done.
Finally, Kenny, I know the circumstances are different and unique, but given what has commenced with Torpedo Anna recently and having to retire prior to the Breeders' Cup, you can kind of commiserate a bit with Bill Mott and Sovereignty defecting. Kind of describe the emotions and what that's like.
Well, it's dealing with that, but it could be much worse. I mean, a fever is easy to deal with. I mean, but if a horse came back bad from a gallop or something like that, or a workout. But I mean, you do all this planning and you come up to these things, and then it doesn't work out. So, in many ways, it's tough. But Bill's a veteran. Bill knows, and I think many of us that do this. I mean, you get a bit bulletproof, and I'm sure he's he doesn't feel badly about it. He's just doing the right thing for the horse. That's all he can do.
You just trust the horse and your instincts, but you cross your fingers and toes that everything goes well to get him to that next start.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we would love to be here with Torpedo Anna this year. It just didn't work out that way. And many other years I've had horses that I thought I could win Breeders' Cup races, and timing's everything, and it's all got to come together.
Appreciate your time, and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks.
Kenny McPeek again with still 2 Breeders' Cup hopefuls, including the Kentucky Derby winner, Mystic Dan, as well as the hopeful aspiring 2-year-old Blackout Time.
Hope springs eternal with the 2-year-old in the barn as we take a look. Blackout Time 5-1 on the morning line. Third choice behind the local hope for Bob Baffert and Brandt, and of course the uber talented and accomplished Ted Noffey.
I think Blackout Time's very live in here. 2 back, he broke his maiden by 9 lengths at Ellis Park, going a mile, went straight into Grade 1 company in the Breeders' Fraternity, and I thought ran a really good second to Ted Noffey. And one thing about him, every one of his races he's improved number-wise, so he's definitely on the improve, and you could see he's a big, good-looking horse. And Simon, we've talked about it all week, is but not this time. Sire cannot do anything wrong at all.
Hottest sire on the planet, and Kenny McPeek said he wants to run all day, and when you look at him physically, you can understand that. His physique, he's built like a distance horse, a 2-turn horse, a horse that's bought really for next year more than this year, right? These are the types of horses that they're looking to be, in Mystic Dan's shoes next year in the Kentucky Derby. That's the plan with these types of runners.
As we get a good look at Blackout Time on the track, pointed for the juvenile. I just love his progression, and it might look in and out if you just look at how his finishes. Second by 3rd, wins by 9 3/4, second by 2 3/4. But the second by 2 3/4 was to Ted Noffey in the Breeders' Futurity. He got faster in each start. And the thing that's really important, speaking to what you just said, Simon, he got faster when he went 2 turns. He ran faster speed figures, both on Thorograph, on Ragozin, and also on Beyer speed figures. So the progression is continuing as he stretches out.
I think whatever he does as a 2-year-old is just pure gravy, because I think physically next year you're going to see a pretty impressive individual, because he's got to grow into that frame, develop. He's drawn the one hole. No, he's not drawn the 1 hole. What?
He's hit 2.
Yeah, so he had the 1 hole last time out, which he overcame. I mean, he's got tactical speed for a big horse. He lays close. This race is a mile and a 16th. We've talked about a mile and a 16th, a mile at Del Mar. You have to be forwardly placed. Historically, speed is very dominant when you're running a mile or a mile and a 16th at Del Mar. Short run into the first turn. It's key to have tactical positioning early.
And that's why I think he has such a good shot, even coming from the 2-0, because a lot of Kenny's horses, he teaches them young to kind of sit in the pocket. I mean, think of Mystic Dan, all those inside trips he's had. And I really think, even in his last race drawing the 1 hole, he was very comfortable, especially for a young horse, staying inside, being able to kick dirt, get dirt, and kick out. And I think he's going to have a lot of speed to run at, too.
As Blackout Time out on the track yesterday. And a good look at this horse as he is pointed for the juvenile. Right now, let's check in once again with Michelle Yu.
Speaking right now with Emily Ellingwood, who is actually working for Chad Summers. So you guys came here with dry powder. But Emily is a seasoned pro when it comes to the Breeders' Cup because you were the regular daily rider of White Obario the year that he won the Classic. Kind of flashback to that year. What was it like leading up to it? Because he had all the eyes on him, and you had to go out there and look pretty every day.
It was a great experience. I'm very happy to be back here with dry powder. Hopefully we get to do it all over again and get the big win, get the flowers, and yeah, go home a winner.
Has it been different? Because when you were with White Obario, he was the favorite. Everyone was looking at him. And now dry powder's under the radar. So it's a little bit different, like not a bunch of people watching you from the rail yelling at you?
No, not really. I have a lot of trust in this filly. She's been training really well. She's very nice to get on. Poncho used to gallop her all the time back in New York. So I was lucky enough to come out here with Chad. But she's a pretty easygoing filly, super professional. She's been handling it very well, so I have high hopes for her.
And you've gotten on a couple of other Breeders' Cup horses as well, right? Does that feel good to be out here and have the phone call, ring, ring, hey, Emily, can you come get on a horse? Is it any good? It's a Breeders' Cup runner.
Yeah, no, it's been great to be back and getting the opportunity to ride multiple different Breeders' Cup contenders, and yeah, we'll see how they all do.
And you know what you can always do on Sunday is come ride my horse for me.
I know.
I mean, what a moment. And that's two horse girls in the environment they love, doing what they love. That is fantastic. David Aragona, one of the best morning line odds makers in the country, has already reset the morning line with the defection of Sovereignty. And this is what it looks like now. The morning line favorite, Fierceness, at 5-2. Forever Young, Sierra Leone, 7-2. They are the co-second choices. Journalism, 5-1. Mindframe, 6-1. Antiquarian, 10-1. Baeza, 10-1. And then Nevada Beach, contrary thinking, the longer prices.
Yeah, they sure did contract quite a bit after Sovereignty scratch, but still Baeza 10-1. We were talking about him being 15-1 earlier, but yeah, your morning line favorite is now Fierceness from that one hole. Definitely has to contend with that.
Yep, and a couple of co-second choices for Forever Young, Sierra Leone, and Mindframe right there at 6-1.
We're going to take a break. Out on the turf course, putting the final touches. Let's see. They got their measuring tape. They got their book. They're going to figure out where the temp rail goes. Turf course is in great shape, obviously, after a couple of months of growing without being galloped over. Yoshida Yahagi, man.
We need to get those.
Best drip in racing. I need one of those. Last year, Jack was 150. I think he's going to charge me more this year. Over under 175, 200
plus tariffs.
That'll be 275. We'll be back.
Elegance is an attitude.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. Take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen, and the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Sierra Leone has circled up on the outside to take the lead. Fierceness battles on second. Newgate behind them. Forever Young on the far outside. Sierra Leone. Fierceness digs in. Newgate. Forever Young. Sierra Leone close to home. Sierra Leone does it in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Sierra Leone coming up with the victory in last year's Breeders' Cup Classic, and in similar fashion as far as the timing of his races is returning to the Classic with a little bit of freshening and again going in slightly under the radar. Now Sierra Leone is walking behind me right now under tack. He's all tacked up with his exercise rider on board and has been circling. We expect him to actually come out to the racetrack as soon as it reopens from the renovation break. Chad Brown with 7 runners in this year's Breeders' Cup, but probably none having the reputation of Sierra Leone, who just passed behind me. Amazing to see his size and stature after a long and successful campaign last year. Again, this year, maybe a little bit more brief type of campaign, but he is entering it in similar fashion as far as the spacing of his most recent race. I would say he's had a bit of a tougher run in some circumstances, including some mishaps along the way, always showing up, but perhaps a bit unlucky in several instances. Still, Chad has been very, very bullish about the way he's been training coming into this year's Breeders' Cup race, and we're eager to see him out on the track in just a couple minutes. We'll be following him out there and then following up with Chad after the work is done.
First of all, Caden could not have timed those. Anyway, she's talking about Sierra Leone. He's walking behind her, talking about Chad, walks right by. That was brilliant. Also, Sierra Leone. Now we have to look at his chances of winning the Classic with the absence of Sovereignty. How does the scratch of the favorite affect this horse?
I don't think it does as far as the pace, right? I mean, Sovereignty is lays there. I don't think it affects the pace, especially as, you know, we got Contrary Thinking in there as well. So, I mean, obviously he was the beneficiary of a really fast pace last year. I mean, that was, of all the races he's run, that was the fastest opening half mile. And look what it did for him. It set up his closing kick and he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. So, I mean, you want to see an opening half mile this year, 45 and change to set it up for Sierra Leone?
I would have to think Country Thinking's gonna try and go down. I mean, 44 and 4. That shocked me last year, and that's what was so impressive to me with Fierceness. Holding on for second, honestly, to be able to lay that close on such a quick half mile, going a mile and a quarter, and still hang around. I mean, how often do you see horses lay close to that and they pretty much finish, what, 7th, 8th, or 9th out?
He ran the best race, I would imagine, from a visual standpoint. I mean, look, we're touching on times and explaining it. 44 and 4, they will run the Breeders' Cup Sprint, the opening half mile of that race. And they did that in the Breeders' Cup Classic this year. The mark of a true racehorse is speed and stamina, right? You want horses that have speed and go a long way, and that's the case with Fierceness. So he's the legitimate favorite now with the absence of Sovereignty.
Time for us to take a break. There's a look at Papa Mandela, the Hall of Famer. Chock full of Hall of Famers trackside today. 9-time Breeders' Cup winner. Don't forget Mano Mandela, what a day, when he won 4 of the 7 Breeders' Cup races at Santa Anita. We'll have more on The Breakfast Show after this.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Calling all, trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all, trillionaires. Calling all, trillionaires.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Belongs to Epic Ride. He is showing them a clean pair of heels.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Straight No Chaser has the lead. Look to him, a mighty race in second. Jasper Krone from the back trying to stay on his Gabby's sister, but the Japanese runners have a lot of work to do. It's Straight No Chaser who has the lead. Look to him running this big race in second, and still there's distance back to Gabby's sister, who is in third place, late on the scene for a Places remake. But Straight No Chaser, the Breeders' Cup winner, will win the Riyadh Dirt Sprint.
Not every day you get to catch up with one of the fastest horses in the world. Feels like just yesterday, Straight No Chaser gave the FanDuel TV team one of the best experiences ever, watching Christina and Dan Blacker win the Breeders' Cup Sprint with this guy right here. But they hope to repeat this year. The whole team so far very happy with post position 12. Straight No Chaser has that outside speed and obviously is an aggressive horse, so him being to the outside will be able to help him relax and settle during the race. But spoke to his exercise rider and work rider Juan Landeros. He said he galloped this morning beautifully, shipped into Del Mar just a couple days ago, but as he is a more aggressive horse, it suits him better to train early. So they take him out first thing every day. He's got a fresh track. He's out of his stall early. Oh, he's going to do a big stretch for us right now. Wow. Yoga with Straight No Chaser. Certainly a ham. He loves the attention, but he was just taking a little bit of a nap as we approached his stall, and he came right up to say hi. So a really friendly guy, a really feel-good guy, and, of course, a really fast guy.
Well, here with Alberto Reisi, and let's wrap a little bit about Johannes. Back at it again, came so close last year in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. Anything that you could have done differently in last year's edition, looking back on it a year removed?
Well, you just can improve from a second and go into first, Scott. No, honestly, I think last year we have a good trip. I was settled in a nice spot to go into the first turn. I was capable to have him relax on the backside, and look, from my standpoint, I was trailing really well. Cal Spark was the horse to follow, and come around him at the quarter pole and fight very hard with a notable speech. I put him away by the 16th pole, but unfortunately, more than looks run us down.
He had a vigorous campaign compared to this year compared to last year, I should say, compared to this year, Umberto. But what did you see from him in his most recent race at Santa Anita?
Look, I would say then obviously the trip in Saratoga was a messy trip, and definitely, you know, we're gonna take like the race at Santa Anita like he's re-race coming back from a long layoff. So I think he responded pretty well. The horse his health is good, he's doing well. Team is very confident, so I trust him. He has the horse under highs all year around. So, of course, I think it's good. It's probably toughest Breeders' Cup than last year, even in terms of not only in terms of quality, but even in terms of pace and stuff like that. It's full field, so see what happens.
When you say in terms of pace, is there more speed in this race compared to last year, in your opinion?
I mean, really on papers, there is no real front-runner horse. Probably the Lion Winter is going to be the one that is going to go to the lead. But, you know, sometimes when everybody thinks there is no speed, there's going to be speed. So, look, we need to look after our horse. I need to break him out of the gate. I don't need to put him in a good position, try to find a good spot, and we go from there again.
You've clearly analyzed this race quite a bit. How much more analyzing will go into it between now and Saturday for you?
Look, I mean, it's all about if any horses, you know, would be out of the race or if something happened. But since that, yeah, I don't think there's much thing to overthinking. You know, you just go out there, you ride the horse, you feel confidence with him, and you can't look after another 13 horses in the race. You know, you just want to try to put him in a good spot, and if he would be good enough like last year, I think he has a big chances to win the cup, the mile. Sorry.
Good luck this week, Umberto.
Thank you, Scott.
Here at Del Mar, the heavens have opened, and by the choirs of angels singing, the Almighty has delivered to us. Is that you, Rishi? Hey, Rishi Prasad. And this is a man, I know our U.S. audience sees him once a year around Breeders' Cup, but this is a man who has interviewed Djokovic at center court at Wimbledon. He's interviewed Tiger Woods at the Masters, and now he gets to sit next to Simon Bray, which is the highlight of his broadcasting career.
I feel like I'm with Djokovic and Tiger Woods right now.
Hey, man, I'm the Tiger Woods of hosting Breeders' Cup breakfast shows. At any rate, first thing I want to ask you about, the first thing you said on the show when you arrived was, like a child, you were anticipating seeing Sovereignty. It affects all of us. It affects all the connections, but it certainly affects you. I mean, it's just such a gut punch.
Deflated. My balloon's been popped. I feel so disappointed, like so many people, understandably. I guess the only thing I've been thinking when I was walking over here, I was with Scott when he was interviewing Bill Mott, and when I was walking over, only consolation is that it's happened today, and we have a couple of days to build ourselves up for all the good stuff still to come. And there's still a lot of good stuff. Yeah. So hopefully by the time we get to Friday and first Breeders' Cup race gets underway, it will be parked for the moment.
So Sheikh Mohammed's Godolphin outfit and Michael Blanahan and everyone involved in the decision-making process have yet to make a decision. But you've covered international racing for years and years and years. It seems like Sheikh Mohammed's going to want the best horse he's ever had to run in his biggest race in the Dubai World Cup, right?
Not just that, but next year is the 30th running of the Dubai World Cup. It's the 30th anniversary of the Dubai World Cup. We all remember the first running of the Dubai World Cup and who trained the winner, one of the greatest horses of all time. We thought we were going to be building up Sovereignty in the same manner. He still might be one of the greatest horses of all time. So I felt all the stars would align, regardless of what happened here, given the fact that Sovereignty is owned by Godolphin, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, and is trained by Bill Mott.
Yeah. The 30th anniversary all ties in, going back to Cigar.
From what I believe, Dubai are preparing quite huge celebrations to mark the 30th anniversary next year. So who better to have there than the trainer who trained the first one of the Dubai World Cup, who, guess what, trains for Sheikh Mohammed.
Well, and they even honored it. I was there 5 years ago for the 25th run, and they kind of did the same thing. Bill Mott was a guest of Sheikh Mohammed.
It's going to be bigger for next year, from what I understand. So.
Well, they don't do anything small in Dubai. It's not like, the 24th running, they really do a whole lot. I mean,
we need to get back on that trip, Mike. I mean, I like Dave Weaver, but
he's done. I don't care who I have to.
Dave.
No, yeah, poor Dave. I don't know who I have to bribe or lie, cheat, steal, or kill to get on that plane to Dubai this year. But it's going to be excellent. Moving on.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Forever Young right now because the Japanese horses. You could make the argument that some of the best horses in the world come from Japan, and the contingent they bring to these international festivals, be it Dubai or Saudi or here at the Breeders' Cup, has just gotten stronger and stronger in recent years. This might be the best horse they've ever brought over.
I'd say he's up there. I mean, this is a horse, you look through his career, it's been remarkable.
Yes.
The travelling he's done, the races he's run in. When he won the Saudi Cup this year, I thought that was one of the most outstanding performances I've seen in the Middle East. That's Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, whatever you want to call it. His performance in beating Romantic Warrior was magnificent. It looked as if he was beaten when Romantic Warrior blew by him, but he rallied brilliantly, and it felt like that race took a little bit out of him when he went to Dubai for the World Cup. And given that, it's no surprise, obviously, that his campaign has been geared around coming back to the Breeders' Cup Classic with just that prep run to set him right. And I think he'll have an outstanding chance. I felt he ran his race in the Breeders' Cup last year.
Right. He was third best, but he was brilliant.
He was very good run.
That's what he did, but he ran into Fierceness in Sierra Leone, who he has to run into again today. As far as Forever Young Now he doesn't have to take on Sovereignty. Every horse in this classic, it begs the question, what does the defection of Sovereignty do to their chances? Obviously, the easy answer is, well, it makes them better. But specifically Forever Young, how do you think it affects them?
Well, the way I saw the race was that they were going to go really hard, and I thought Sovereignty, Sierra Leone would be the two strongest closers, and Forever Young would be the next best closer, because I felt that Sierra Leone ran down fierceness last year. Forever Young, I thought he had his run last year. I felt that if he was ridden perhaps a little bit more restrained last year, he could have perhaps got a bit closer to Sierra Leone. And I can see maybe if he just sits off them a little bit more than he was last year. He was much more close to the pace than I envisaged 12 months ago.
And it was a lightning pace. Before you sat down, Rishi, we were talking about the pace. They went 44 seconds to the half mile. That's what they would do in a Breeders' Cup sprint race, except it was 1.25 miles. I don't know whether they're going to go that fast this year. But, you know, he's got form like he's run twice in the US. He's finished just behind Sierra Leone in the Derby and just behind him in the Classic. This is Sierra Leone here.
And this is a live look at Sierra Leone on the racetrack here. And he is a beast as well. I mean, we're so taken by the physicality of these horses, Simon, but he's no slouch himself.
No, good-looking individual, and he's just, you know, he's a victim of pace. He needs a sharp pace to close into. He's a big, deep closer, and he needs the setup. He needs the front runners to go fast, the race to kind of fall apart and collapse, and let him pick up the pieces.
I thought he ran a great race last time out, where obviously Mindframe lost the rider early on.
He ran the best race visually. He came from so far back.
Yep. And give him another 100 yards, I think he'd have probably picked up Antiquera. I think I felt he was the biggest danger to Sovereignty.
Me too.
I personally would make him the favourite for the race.
Well, Fierceness has been brilliant here at Del Mar. I mean, one of the most brilliant performances was the second to Sierra Leone, but we talked about how fast that pace was. Look, he's got a rabbit out there with contrary thinking to ensure that fast pace for him.
Well, again, when we looked at the race beforehand with Sovereignty, and it looked like a really good setup for those two horses because they're strong closers.
Right.
And now with Sovereignty out the way, I heard you chatting away with Joe and Simon about, you know, Sovereignty being out the way, what that does to the chances of other horses. I think it gives him a great shot at it again to repeat his win in the race last year. I felt like he and, in my dreams, I thought he and Sovereignty were going to lock horns turning into the straight and may the best horse win.
Right.
And there was a part of me that wanted Sovereignty to win, but with him out of the way, I think you're looking at your Breeders' Cup Classic winner.
That's strong words from Rishi Prasad as this horse, just a routine gallop. Simon, of course, it's not what we're looking for. It's what we're not looking for with these horses at this point.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, you're dealing with the athletes, you know, the most elite athletes on the world stage here, and we always say that. You know, it's like taking the top 3 footballers. Rishi would understand, and I don't mean NFL soccer players. You know, just take it from every Premier League team and bring them to a training camp. They all look good. You're looking for something that maybe is slightly amiss, and he's just galloping right now. Canter, as we like to say in Europe.
You guys would have seen much more of him than I have, but when I have seen him both 12 months ago and here, he just looks really uncomplicated.
Right.
Very professional. He does what's asked of him, no more, which I think is quite a good thing. You don't want them too exuberant, saving it all for the big day.
Chad trains like that, obviously known primarily as a turf trainer for many years. He used to treat his horses more like a European, right? Teach them to relax and sit. He applies that to dirt horses, and that's why you get horses like him that kind of sit. He doesn't train a lot of speed into his horses, trainer Chad Brown.
Let's check in with Scott Hazelton.
Well, gentlemen, back here at the quarantine barn, and we're just about, I think, 2 minutes away from the scheduled departure of the Aiden O'Brien 7 horses that will be heading out to the track. We're back here. You've got the pony right here just waiting. Just had a chat with him. They're going to walk out of this gate as they're on the far side of the quarantine barn and then make their way down this path, take that left-handed turn, and then head out to the gap. And I would imagine, Michael, that given how on point Aiden O'Brien is with everything that he does, that these horses will be coming out right at 10 after the hour.
Paddy.
Thank you, Scott. As we take a look at Goliath out there with the string halt, and Rishi, we've seen that stride. This is a much better shot than what we got yesterday, but it's just how he walks. It's a condition called string halt. We had a great explanation yesterday from Simon Bray. It really doesn't affect anything once they get into it, except for it makes them walk a little funny.
I'll explain it one more. Just, if you're joining us for the first time, it looks very odd, right? I mean, basically, this horse is goose stepping with the left hind foot, and basically, string halt. It's very rare in all breeds of horses. It's a well-documented neurological condition. There's no pain or discomfort. And it's not very common in racehorses. It affects the nerve signals to the muscles, and there's no pain involved. And the faster the gait, it disappears. So when this horse starts trotting or galloping or cantering, you won't see any of these characteristics exhibited. So this horse has been traveled all over the world, had success, so it's nothing to worry about.
Well, he won the King George last year at Ascot, and you look at the form of that win in the King George in 2024, it's as good as anything in the race. He beat Blue Stocking, who won the Arc. He beat Rebels Romance, who of course is one of the big players, the big stars on Saturday. And even further behind, he had some smart horses like Auguste Rodin. So on his very best form, he would have a huge chance. But I think it's fair to say 2025 has not, even though he's won a Group 1 in Germany, it has not been the best Goliath that we've seen this year. But his trainer, Francis-Henri Graffard, has had the most outstanding season and established himself amongst the elite trainers internationally, and probably upsides Monsieur Fabre in terms of where he stands in France.
Even if we haven't seen the best version of Goliath thus far in 2025, could we get the best version of him come Breeders' Cup?
I don't, in my heart of hearts, I don't think he has shown anything through his form this year that suggests that he's the horse who won the King George last year.
Gotcha.
If he does, it means that he has somehow, between his run in Germany and the other runs that he's produced this season and getting here, Francis Graffard has found something in the last couple of weeks to get him there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, German Grade 1, when you start ranking the Grade 1s in Europe, they wouldn't be up there with the English, French Grade 1 races, correct?
No, you'd say England, France, Ireland, and then Germany.
Italy.
If we're being entirely honest, I mean, there are horses that obviously have progressed through Grade 1 races. I mean, Alpinista won the Arc last year after winning 3 Group 1s in Germany the year before. So it's a good stepping stone.
It's the exception more than the rule that really good horses show up, right?
Yeah, and I think he went to that Group 1
for that reason.
For that exact reason.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just taking these notes. Germany, not quite Ireland, better than Italy. Got it. There's a look at Goliath, and he's 8-1 on the morning line.
So
he's
watch
about
him
to
when
gallop.
when he gallops, you're going to see. Well, they're just trying to get him straightened away here. He's going to gallop, but you'll see that string hold, that excessive action with the left hind leg. It'll disappear the faster he goes.
You can still see it, but at least it looks more in fluid with his other hind leg. But as soon as they accelerate a bit, it'll just look like a normal gallop.
Yep.
He is a very interesting horse, and despite the fact that it's been a not as brilliant a season in 2025, his career resume stands on its own. And like you said, he's the King George winner a year ago, and we don't know if he still has the club in his bag to get the best of these horses in the turf, but at one time he did.
He did. That is exactly it. And the fact that his trainer has had a wonderful season and he's selective with the horses that he campaigns internationally, and the fact that he's brought this horse here means that he must believe there's still a big performance in him.
Scott?
Well, the Aiden O'Brien team has left the quarantine barn as they are in single file line. The Lion in Winter is leading the way, and Minnie Hawk, she's not too far off the pace. The headliner of this group, undoubtedly, she's sitting fourth in this pack, kind of leaning a little bit to the left there as she takes the left-handed turn for what it's worth. Coming out, True Love follows behind her, Precise as well. So they are just about now setting foot on the track. The Lion in Winter first up as they are on the 7 furlong shoot here, getting ready for their morning training for Aiden O'Brien as he was following right along.
Rishi, we make such a big deal about this because it's so contrary to American training styles to see them come out in single file like this, just the organization. And is part of it just by, we know part of it's by necessity, but is part of it for Aiden? Does he understand that this is an intimidating look for his competition?
I'm sure he understands now after all this time. But I guess for him, and Simon will be able to tell you even more about this, the way they train back home, this is how they go out every morning.
Yep.
They're used to going out in groups together. First lot, second lot, third lot. So they're very used to operating as a big string. And so for the horses, more importantly, this is something similar to what they would experience back home.
Where does Aiden train most, if not all, of his horses? What's his operation like over there?
Ballydoyle.
It's all at home. They've got the best gallops in the world at home. Occasionally, when they are having to go to somewhere unusual, they will try and recreate as much of that racetrack and the certain characteristics of that racetrack that they can, whether it's a bend. And you know, there's always been chat about how Aiden's so successful at Epsom, and they've recreated parts of the challenge of Epsom at Ballydoyle because that's the power, the finance that they have, that they can do things like that, which is why their horses are always so well prepared. You think of the hundreds of horses, thousands of horses that Aiden's brought to the Breeders' Cup, and he's travelled all over the world. I can't think of a horse that he's brought that has struggled to cope with temperament. You know, actually the Lion in Winter, who he would be perhaps the most uneasy of all the horses here because he can get very warm before his races. He sweats and looks like he worries. That's a very unusual thing when it comes to he stands out because the rest of them are all so at ease with what they're asked to do.
It's a tremendous facility. I mean, for years, I know back when I was working in Newmarket, they mocked up an American left-hand turn at Ballydoyle, you know, before they came to, like back in the Johannesburg days.
Are there any other facilities in the world that you would compare to Ballydoyle? I can't think of many here in the U.S., but the breadth of it.
Well, Charlie Appleby's stable at Moulton Paddocks in Newmarket is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Again, their own gallops.
Yeah.
So they don't have to encounter any unnecessary challenges that they don't need. So it's quite similar, but obviously Aiden's probably a little bit larger, and it's fair to say both of them are doing pretty well with the way they go about their operation.
Private charters to travel their planes. I mean,
it's a dream.
Yeah.
The way they do it is what people can only aspire to, given their finance and the facilities they all have at their disposal.
But yeah, this is very similar to what they do in Europe. Like we said yesterday, a trainer in England basically has 3 lots, or 3 sets as we call them here in America. In America, they'll have 9 or 10. That's why horses go out one after another very quickly. But you know, they'll send 30, 40 horses out a lot in Europe.
And of course, it's not just Aiden's army, it's the O'Brien army, because Donica's horses are here, Joseph's horses are here, so Aiden might ask us to change that name over the next few days.
Well, that's because they're his kids. But to us, it's Aiden's army. Look, we all love our own children,
Yeah, he's very much the Northern Dancer to those two.
Yeah, it's very good. Aiden's army out on the racetrack right now. It is impressive. I've never been to Great Britain or Ireland, so I've never seen those facilities. One I have seen that seemed like all-encompassing and large. I went to Zabeel Stables, one in Dubai.
Yes.
So that was my first experience with a private training yard that had literally everything, including the world's biggest equine pool I've ever seen.
Yes, that Satish Seymour trained there. Bupat Seymour. They've closed that down, sadly.
Oh, that's terrible.
Bupat has had to move to a different location in Dubai. But I remember going there. It was amazing, actually. Right. Very quick story. I went there, was it 2 years ago, just before it did close down, to see what it was like and to interview Bupat Seymour about his eventual Dubai World Cup winner. And there was a surprise visit from a jockey. Ryan Moore had turned up because it was closing down, and Ryan Moore served part of his apprenticeship there.
Yeah.
And he found out that it was that down.
Really?
And so he went and surprised them to say thank you to everybody who played a part in that apprenticeship all those years ago.
That was unlike anything I'd ever seen.
Well, it was the original.
Yeah,
Godolphin Center.
You can see it from the hotel. You can see it from almost any vantage
Yes,
point.
exactly. It's in a metropolitan area. I mean, you could just look out to the Dubai skyline. What was the reason they shut it down? Just
development.
Yeah.
And he's found a lovely spot near the racecourse. So
that was
probably a hotel.
When Simon,
already.
We might be staying there when we go to Dubai.
Yeah.
When we went to Dubai and we were at Zabeel, Satish Seymour said, "Yeah, when I came here, there's none of these buildings. They've been popping up like mushrooms."
There are a couple of horses here that I wanted to mention for Aiden in particular, and I've touched on it before through the week. The two horses that I think most people expect to win are Mini Hawk and Precise. And the thing I like about both of those horses are how, and I mentioned this about Sierra Leone, like the very best horses that you see, they're so uncomplicated, but not just in their demeanor, in the build-up to the race day, etc., but in the races itself. Precise has got an awkward draw on the outside of the field in her race in the juvenile filly turf. But I don't think it'll bother her at all because she's so easy to handle through the race. She travels comfortably. She doesn't race keen. She's not ranked through the early part of the race. Stade might be an issue for him, the way he did that at Newmarket in the Dewhurst Stakes. And then Mini Hawk, everything she does in her races, she does quite comfortably. Again, she's generous when asked to go about her race. And funny enough, Kristoff Clement obviously got beaten on her in the Arc. And some people, and I'm not sure that this was actually a valid reason, some people suggested that if Ryan had ridden her, she might not have got beaten because he knew her better. Because she quickened up and she put some distance between herself and the rest of the horses, and then Darius has just come and nailed her on the line. And I think if you look back at it, some people say, well, if Kristoff had waited a little bit longer, but I think this will be an opportunity for him to put it right. I'm sure he's got that now under his belt, and he'll deliver her.
Let me ask you this. What was the decision to go in the turf rather than filly and mare turf? And I know at most venues of the Breeders' Cup, it's a distance thing, like the 1.5 miles of the turf to 1.25 miles at the filly and mare turf. Here in Del Mar, there's not much difference. 1 3/8 miles compared to 1.5 miles. Do they just want to take on the bigger prize?
I think partly, I agree with that they do want the bigger prize, because I think in their mind, and if you look at the form of the Arc in particular, where she took her form to another level, it's miles better than anything else in the race.
Right.
You know, even Rebel's Romance. She started favourite for the Arc that day on a valid point because she'd been so brilliant through her 3-year-old career, and she had more to come. That's the feeling she gave, and she gave more because her and Darius finished miles clear of everything else. If Rebel's Romance had gone for the same race and he's her biggest danger, he would have been a double-figure prize. Not disrespectful to Rebel's Romance, but he wouldn't have been single-figure prize for that race. And she was the favourite. So that's the gap that he's got to close as a 7-year-old on an outstanding filly line. So I think they think to themselves, both races, she would win.
Right.
And here's the bigger prize.
Right.
And also, I think the point about the extra furlong is a significant one, because she stayed really strongly when she won the Oaks at Epsom. She beat a stable companion well. She stayed really strongly when she won the Yorkshire Oaks. She was going away at the end. She got run down by Darius in the Arc, but I still think that she's by miles the best horse.
Plus, he can win the filly mare with Bedtime Story. He can win with two. Right.
Yeah.
Michelle?
Well, guys, made my way back here to the starting gate just in time for Aiden's Army to show up. So right here is Mini Hawk. You can see she's on her toes a little bit. She's got the big white face. Stade is back here. I don't want to say red helmet. They're all wearing red helmets. Right here, that's about to be walked up. You see he's being led. He was really hot galloping yesterday. He's got a little bit of lather on his neck, but he looks much better today than he did yesterday. There's Havana Anna just taking the turn behind the gray horse. So we're pretty cramped in here. We don't have a lot of room when we're at the 10 furlong shoot back here, but Aiden's horses all going to be moving into line to stand. I'm sure they're going to back them out. I believe that's what he mentioned yesterday. Here's True Love for anybody looking for her. She's number 921 right there. Here comes the Lion in Winter. He was warm yesterday, but I heard Rishi say that's just kind of how he goes. Here's Precise right here with the pink on the bottom of her saddle towel, so she's about to move into line right now. I can see where this is going. All the favorites are going to be loaded in to school first. So once Mini Hawk got into the gate, she was actually better. Stade is moving around just a little bit. So we have in the gate right now, the Lion in Winter, Stade, Mini Hawk, and Precise about to come in. I don't know how many at a time they are going to be putting in, but everybody else back here just circling until it's their turn. Obviously, what we're looking for here is these horses to get acclimated. Chili, let's go to the front where you can see kind of where these guys go. So these horses are not accustomed to having starters in the gates with them. So these horses are all going to come in and have this person stand by their head, which is something that they are not normally doing when they're in Europe. So this is all new for them. And anytime you have a person high above a horse, it can be intimidating to a horse. It can make them a little nervous. So this is great for them to have to stand. You can see a couple of them throwing themselves around a little bit when they're coming out. So they didn't actually stay in there all that long, probably because we have such a large group to get through right here. But They went in, they stood, they're coming back out. We got Jay Slender, the head starter right here. He's actually closing the tailgate on this first horse. And he's the one that's controlling all these guys and telling them which horse to bring up. I didn't see who was in the first stall, but Bedtime Story is coming through. And then you see we've got some handlers now helping. So in addition to the riders that are on their backs, we have Aiden's assistant out here holding some of these on the ground that are a little bit more nervous. Havana Anna is coming up right now. Estilla, who I believe is on the Alsos, is moving up to this next group. So we're probably going to have about 3 groups of these horses coming in, Stan. This group going much better than the last group. True Love coming in. She looked fantastic. I mean, talk about carrying really good weight. You can't even tell that she shipped over here. She looked like she's lived her whole life. She's beautifully built, doing everything with consummate professionalism. A couple of these getting worked up. Definitely not True Love. She looks fantastic. Here's Brussels backing back out after a successful schooling. Didn't seem to be bothered by that at all. And you see, again, all these horses up here, the riders talking to the handlers. Jay back here working the tailgates, getting them in and out pretty quickly as long as they're good. That's one of the keys in here. They want them to stand in the gate and have a really good experience. So it's not just in and then back out real quick. If they're being bad, they have to stand in there, and then the reward for being good is to get to come out. Backing out a couple more right here. And that was Havana Anna coming back out. Let's see if we can catch back up with Minnie Hawk and see if she's being a little bit better, because she was going a little loco. There she is. She's got the handler on her. See in the maroon shirt walking. So she's been one that's been a little bit nervous to keep going. And again, this area very small. So while they're used to tight quarters, that's Pat Keating leading her. Leading Minnie Hawk. Aiden's longtime assistant. We see him all over the world. All right, couple left to go here. Mission Central. And Donich's and Joseph's horses are also a part of this mix. So it's not just Aiden's horses here. They've got the whole lot of them. There's Queen of Hawaii. And we also got a Sadler horse. Who are you on, Juan? A maiden. So... Oh, Mohaven. Okay. So Juan Leyva up here on Mohaven. That's actually a Yopon Calbred. She's running in the Golden State Juvenile Fillies. She broke her maiden and is second in the generous portions. She has quite the lot to be joining in with right now. I love that. All right, guys. Couple more to load here, but I've walked you through all of them. I'm out of breath. I can't read anymore. Back to you.
You're out of breath. I'm out of ink trying to take notes here. I'm happy that Rishi's next to me, but you talk about their professionalism. You talk about how well-mannered they are. You talk about how well-trained they are, how nothing makes them turn a hair.
Yeah, you know, 1 or 2 might just be a little bit fractious because they're seeing something they may not have seen before. So you can understand that. But in general, they're all well-behaved. Yep. Precise is probably doing the worst at the moment, and that's Rachel Richardson on her, the chestnut with the white star. But Rachel was talking such glowing terms about Precise earlier this week. But they're all really, there's nothing to worry about looking at them as a whole, as a group. And I said the fact that they're all together probably gives them a bit of comfort as well.
So talk to us about Rachel, because you did an interview with her and you said that you know the best horses from the Aiden's Army because she's going to be the one on the back of it. Well, how long has that gone on, and what is it about her that Aiden trusts her so much?
Well, very similar to Aiden, Charlie Appleby and Aiden both use ex-professional riders, and obviously some approach them, they approach others. Rachel Richardson used to ride in the north primarily for the Easterbees, and she was actually a very accomplished rider. She was very good. And then she disappeared from the scene, and then the next thing was she reappeared as part of Aiden's team. And as you guys have seen over here, she comes over and she generally is sitting on the best horse of the group, whether it was City of Troy last year, Auguste Rodin the year before. So clearly, the way she rides the horses at home, Aiden trusts her with the very best horses. And she rides Precise in her work at home, and the job for her here is to help Precise through the preparatory stages for Friday.
Does she take on the role more of an assistant trainer or a foreman or anything in that capacity, or is she purely an exercise and galloper?
That I couldn't answer with any certainty, but I know that in terms of her exercise riding, she is involved with the best horses because I think Aiden trusts her implicitly to handle the very best ones that he needs to be prepared, and the ones that she gives feedback on, because she knows what a good horse, you know, when a good horse is ready, she knows when a good horse feels good, and if there's an issue with them, she can give that feedback. And Simon will tell you that the feedback for the work riders in the UK, that's the first thing they tell you. If you get into training, it's the people that are involved looking after the horses daily, on the ground and on their backs. If you get people that give you the best feedback, you're half a length in front of everyone else.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's repetition, right? And keeping people on the same horses as much as you can, because then they can tell the difference from a baseline that if you put somebody on a horse for the first time, they have no reference. You know, maybe this horse does the X, Y, and Z, but if it's been doing it for 3 years every day, you know, that's normal behavior. But to Richie's point, I'm very impressed at how well behaved these horses. They've been out on the track, gone back to the starting gate. That's enough in it itself to get horses just keyed up a little bit. But they're all behaving perfectly. And I think the fact that, you know, Aiden is kind of simulating as much as he can of what they do at home as far as going out in a big group like this helps.
I also think it's just brilliant when we talk about, you know, the operation he has at Ballydoyle, how he trains his horses, how different it is in the U.S. I mean, we're just a couple miles or a couple hours away from Santa Anita, which is the largest training center in North America, where you could have 2,000 horses hitting the track on a single day. We also run our races upside down because they're mostly on dirt as opposed to turf in this country. So we want horses busting away from the gate as fast as they go, as opposed to the runners overseas where we want them reserved and staying on for the distance.
Yeah, that's entirely how we train, you know, back home. You want them relaxed. The importance of horses relaxing cannot be stressed. Through the early part of a race, we want to see them nice and chilled. And most of the training methods are to keep horses nice and relaxed, so when they go into the gates, they get into their rhythm. It's always so important that horses find their rhythm. And the other thing about Aiden preparing horses, you know, like some of the bigger occasions in Europe, say for example Derby Day at Epsom, traditionally it can be quite a buzzy occasion. The horses are saddled up normally in boxes like they are here, not Aiden. He will take his horses out into the middle of the paddock and he will saddle them where they're nice. It's nice and airy. There's no noise making. There's nothing to perhaps unsettle them, make them uneasy. He wants to do things that will ensure that his horses are relaxed. So when they go in the starting stalls, they're ready to just settle into their rhythm and then finish hard.
This sounds like I'm being cheeky, but I'm not. They are live animals. I think sometimes we forget that they are live animals, right? And they are going to respond to stimuli like any other live animal and show the nuances of something of that. Yeah. Saddling them in the open air as opposed to putting them in a stall, the way they're trained, all of that, it's all of the utmost import. And all these little details that people at home don't understand, someone like me who's sitting behind a desk, I don't really understand. They go a long way. Well,
I've only learned from watching, but you know, they're flight animals as well. Right. So most of the time they're operating on fear. Mm-hmm. So part of that, quite often when you're talking about horses, and lucky enough to have worked in sort of, you know, eventing and show jumping, and sometimes people ask about, why is it so impressive that these horses do what they do? So I've tried to explain to people who don't live and breathe horses like we do that these horses are by nature, they fear stuff.
They're flight animals, yeah.
Generally, they're mistrusting of many things, many people. So for a human being to develop a level of trust between themselves and the horse, it's a huge achievement in itself. Right. And then to ask the horse to do the things they do. You've been involved with horses. You've seen horses freak out at the slightest thing that they shouldn't be scared of. Right. You know, a piece of paper blowing in the wind will get a horse to just pause and go, what's that? I'm scared of it. I'm going to go the other way. But then you can ask a horse to go into this huge metal object. Right. Yet they run away from a piece of paper. Yeah. It's crazy. You know, in the world of eventing, you get the horses to jump over a fence and then into a pool of water. Yeah. Right. And then run out the other side over another fence.
I mean, it's crazy.
That's not natural for them.
It's not.
But luckily, they can trust us.
I think the part of this game that will never get old to me is that each and every racehorse is a novel. The entire story of from the time they're foaled to the time they're raised to going through a sales ring to going to like an Eddie Woods training center to getting to the racetrack just to win one race is years of work to win one race. And now we're so far down that spectrum where you have the best racehorses in the world. It starts with, you know, tens of thousands of horses born everywhere, and it just whittles into this top of this pyramid. It's just true. Like I'll never take for granted just how special these animals we're seeing are.
The time and investment. I mean, it's like trying to make wine, right? By the time, I mean, you got to wait for the grapes to mature to get in the barrel, to get into the bottle, to get to the table to drink. Where you're breeding a horse, you got to wait 4 years till it gets to the racetrack.
That's the whole thing. You know how you make a small fortune in wine?
No.
You start with a large fortune. At any rate, we've got to take a break. We will be back with more on the breakfast shows, more from Rishi, more from Simon, more from our reporters. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day here in Del Mar. Look, we pay the sunshine tax in California, but I'll tell you, the sun shines each and every day. We'll be back with more after this.
Elegance is an attitude.
Calling all trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all trillionaires.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
16-2, a big black colt. He's a horse that is built for speed. With Practical Joke, it really is a case of like father, like son.
It's domestic product kicking clear and opening up here in the stretch.
When he ran that speed figure of 106, we were under no illusions that we had a very exciting prospect on our hands.
Domestic product just in front, domestic product!
When you see horses like that who are capable of replicating the success of their fathers, that have the look that domestic product does, it gives you great confidence.
And there they are, breaking off into a gallop. Aiden's Army, they did their gate work, and now they are taking a spin around the dirt.
Been out of the stalls, the boxes you like to call them, for quite some time. Had a jog around the track, been to the gate, and now, yeah, they're getting to stretch their legs. So Aiden takes them out later. This is probably the best situation, so the track's much quieter for him.
The other really interesting point you referred to talking to Rachel Richardson is quite often when you speak to Aiden about achievements, he often goes on about everybody that, the lads.
He names
I
them all.
want to thank everybody who works at Ballydoyle, everybody who works at Coolmore, everyone who reared the foals, the stallion men, everyone. And never takes any credit for himself. And he often gives the impression that all he's thinking about is getting the horses ready and pleasing the people he works for. Then interview Rachel Richardson and say about, you know, Aiden stands 3 shy of equaling his own world record. He could possibly go past it on Saturday. Is that something that you know, is that a thing for the team? And she goes, yeah, we're all talking about it. They watched the racing in France because they came over, all the riders came over with the horses on Saturday. And they were watching the racing in France because he won 2 Group 1s in France on Sunday. They got him to 25, and she said we were all going, wow, that's amazing. They nearly won 3, and now they've got this target inside the world record. And you'll never get that from Aiden. That is a, you know, even, let's say he breaks the world record on
the number's 28,
Saturday.
right?
28 is his record.
Yep.
He's on 25. If Precise and Stad and True Love win on Friday, then, you know, Line and Winter or Mini Hawk or Bedtime Story could take him past the line. On on Saturday. Mini Hawk with the big white face out in front, and there's Precise with a little white star. She will hopefully get the ball rolling on Friday. There's Bedtime Story, who last year at Royal Ascot, the grey, she looked a world beater, and then she's just not had things go her way. But I assure you that if Aiden O'Brien broke the record on Saturday, he wouldn't take any credit for himself. He would tell you all about the team.
Well, and it speaks to be an Aiden O'Brien, to have that job, the pressure that comes in it. We think of the horsemanship skills, the management skills, but it's the demeanor as well. It's like a good horse has a good mind. A great trainer like that, he's got to have a great mind. He always has to say the right thing, has to have the right demeanor. When things go awry, you can't let it show. When things go great, you can't let it show. You have to, I mean, it's a personality that you can't, it's not a skill, it's a personality you have to have.
That's such a good point, because one of the things that often cynical people in this world, cynical people, I know they're cynical people in the world, but they're even more cynical in the sport of horse racing. Quite often, you know, they believe that there's a persona on camera from all of us, and trainers and jockeys and owners, and there's a different one off camera. Aiden O'Brien is very, very much the same person on and off camera. I remember he had a horse called Air Force Blue.
Yes,
it was an unbeaten
absolutely.
2-year-old magnificent horse, and then he came back, and his first run was in the 2000 Guineas, and he ran appallingly. And I was working for Channel 4 in those days, and I went to find Aiden to get a quote from him on what he'd made of Air Force Blue. But it was such a disappointing run from Air Force Blue. It looked as if the horse just hadn't trained on, and it was really a big body blow to the team. So I went up to him with the face looking all so disappointed, you know, to obviously give him my condolences for that awful run. And he looked at me and he goes, "What's wrong?" And he put his hand on my shoulder.
Really?
And I went, "I'm so sorry about Air Force Blue, Aiden." And he goes, "Nobody died, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's fine."
Yeah.
And I remember that stuck in my head and really struck a chord. Like, you know, he's got his feet on the ground.
He does. And what another big thing for him, which I know you'll probably back me up on this, Richie, a lot of his quotes, and I've spoken to him about this, he's like, you don't look into the past.
No.
Always to the future.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to know what went on yesterday.
Yeah.
As far if anything goes wrong, good or bad, he goes, why spend energy wasting time on what's happened in the past? You've always got to look forward. And some people think that's just lip service for the camera. No, that's the way he lives his life.
And you know who else is like that? Wayne Lucas, whose record he's trying to beat with the 20, or he's tied with a 20 Breeders' Cup wins.
Yep.
Every time I talk to Wayne Lucas, every single time, as we were wrapping up, he always brought up his 2-year-olds. He's like, he was so excited about the 2-year-olds. But this is a man who has done, you know, the unthinkable in this game. And at 88, 89 years old, he's still thinking about the 2-year-olds in the barn. I mean, that's how he's built.
I think when you have a resume like this, and once you it's a lot easier, you know, when you're a veteran, you've been there, you know. Yeah. It's now it's, you know, it's old hat this for Aiden O'Brien, but there's still the pressure there from the boys at Coolmore. I mean, I told Mike this yesterday. I interviewed him once, and I'm like, you've traveled all over the world. You know, what's your favorite cities? Like, you know, the only things I see in the city are an airport and a racetrack. It's so true, right?
It's true.
I mean, he flies from Ballydoyle to Royal Ascot. He'll go back
home. Go back home. See horses at work the next morning, and then fly back again.
People think he's parked up in Berkshire all week.
Yeah, but with the rest of them.
But you know what? Can I tell you what's brilliant about that? Is that we like, all we see is the racetrack and the airport. What you do is how you see the world. So if you golf, you see the world through the world's golf courses, right? You go and you see the golf courses.
Yeah.
If you're a racetracker, you see the world through the world's racetracks. If you're a mountain climber, you see the world through the world's mountains. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Scott.
Well, back here at the Gap, as Aiden O'Brien's horses come off the track in what appears to be the exact same order in which they went on the track. We start with the Lion in Winter, as well as Stad just behind him, that very good-looking 2-year-old Brussels sitting third. There's the top filly, Mini Hawk for the turf, True Love for the juvenile turf sprint, Precise in the juvenile fillies turf, and Bedtime Story, the gray filly, as well as a few others back behind. As you mentioned, Donica and Joseph's horses part of this group. So we're going to go back to the quarantine barn, hopefully have a chat with Aiden, see how things went from his viewpoint when it came to the gate schooling we had this morning. But back to their barn goes the Aiden Army, and we also just had Forever Young, come off the track as well. So a lot of activity back here with these international competitors making their way back to their quarters.
So far, this has been one of the most awe-inspiring sights we've seen at the entire breakfast show. Especially, I want to give a shout. I don't know if that was Chili or Miles or Nose. It was David Woods. David Woods here, but whoever had the shot under the rail when they came around the turn, that was Chili. That was Joe Chili, our camera. We have some of the best camera people in all of sports. It's not just all of horse racing. We do have, I don't think there's a more challenging sport to cover than horse racing, and we have the best in the biz at FanDuel.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love the guys. I love the people that we work with here.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Rishi.
The jokes we have off camera are so much fun, mostly at my expense.
Well,
but, you know, I deserve it.
You're kind of newish.
David Woods, by the way, is the son. We mentioned Eddie Woods. We showed that package.
Yep.
Just, you know, he can sign Brant. And David doing double duty this week. He closed out the Dodgers game 2 nights ago.
He was a dead ringer
for the pitcher.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I wish someone had told me this sooner.
Oh, yeah. the red beard, the whole 9 yards. At any rate, thank you so much to all of our crew that make this possible, because we have seen some really great shots. And it's also a great venue to get those great shots, too.
That's beautiful. I mean, I heard you and Joe and Simon talking about that shot never gets old this morning that you were showing.
Never does.
It is amazing.
Yeah. Be honest. Coming to the U.S., this is your favorite spot, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason I'm here. I came here in 1997, and I never left for this one reason.
Really?
Because I came to Del Mar, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
awesome.
Yeah.
We circle the 7 weeks in summer and then the 4 weeks in the fall on our calendar every year. Not that we don't love everywhere we go, but this place is just special, and that's why we've had the Breeders' Cup here in back-to-back years. All right. We're going to take a look at animation right now, working a half mile. Speaking of, this is the animation. There isn't a horse named Animation. We got Forever Young working a half mile.
Rishi, this is for some Europeans and you, and I'm not being condescending. This kind of gives you the trip these horses take when they work and the range of times. I mean, I know it's become more in vogue in the last several years in Europe to employ times and fractions, but just to give a little explanation, a half mile work on the slow side would be about 52 seconds. On the really fast side would be 46 seconds.
Yeah, I heard you talking about the 5 furlong times this morning in relation to Forever Young, etc. Yeah, it's a very good point about how things have changed back home. The use of times, the use of recovery rates of horses once they've finished working. I mean, I'm involved with a couple of horses back home with a syndicate called the Rogues Gallery, and we employ as much as we can on times, recovery rates, in order to try and ascertain just where these horses are peaking. And it's actually proving quite fruitful. So, you know, something that we are learning more about still in Europe. We're probably, again, a little bit behind, but it's getting better.
Right, and a little harder in Europe. Well, obviously, no 2 racetracks are the same, so it's hard to compare times. The conventional 1 mile oval in the United States makes it a little more easier to compare times. But this is a half mile from American stage. He's going to be in the sprint. And Forever Young. Again, just to reiterate, we're only 3 days in front of the race here, so there won't be going much. 51 and 4, 51 and 3.
51 and 3 and 51 flat.
And 51 flat, can't see. But they're going together. That's a very easy half-mile work.
Yeah, American Stage is an interesting horse because I remember him running in Dubai earlier in the year. And as a 3-year-old, it's very unusual for 3-year-olds to dip their toe in the Dubai Golden Shaheen, but he did. And he actually ran really well against a horse called Tuz, who was the defending champion in the Golden Shaheen earlier in the season. And I thought the race on Dubai World Cup night would have just helped him toughen up a little bit because he was such a young horse, so inexperienced, taking on the older seasoned campaigners.
Yeah. Held his own, though.
Yeah, he did okay. I think he finished 6th. And I feel like he's a horse who would have benefited from the experience more than anything else.
I mean, he's bred top and bottom for the United States. I mean, he was bought here. He's come full circle, cost $500,000. He's by Into Mischief out of a Warrior's Reward mare. I mean, that's just top and bottom dirt. And these two just work a half a mile in company. You wouldn't expect to see anything more than this as close as we are to the race.
Let's take a look at a distaffer out onto the racetrack as Alice Verite. Get a good look right there. Gonna get a little 5/8 drill here as we take a look. That is 101 and 1 will be the official clocking for the 5 furlong drill.
I mean, from a handicapping standpoint, she's in the distaff. I don't know what to make. All of her races have been on the grass. Her form is very mediocre this year. She hasn't even finished in the top 3. And
sounds like you're describing Marsha Lorraine.
and it's a big ask.
she's related to a couple of horses on the dam side that have won on dirt. She's by Kazuna, who was again a top-class Japanese horse on turf primarily. I think it's a bit of a shot in the dark here.
I think
she's on her very best form on the turf anyway. She'll have a bit to find. So maybe she might find a little bit on that pedigree.
I think if you go back in my family tree, you might see I'm related to the royal family at some point too, Rishi.
Are you?
No.
I felt like I was.
But I'm just saying.
I was going to say, I thought there was a reason Prince William was coming to Thanksgiving. At any rate, Alice Verite with a little 5-furlong drill here. It would be a shocking upset should she win. The Japanese would not be shocked at all if she did.
No, they wouldn't be shocked because they know the strength and depth of their horses and how brilliant they've been, as we've noticed all around the world, just how good the Japanese horses are. And I know it's become a bit of a cliche for people to say that, but as a fan of British racing in particular, you know, and the way that British races or British horse racing was established in the 70s, 80s, with that emphasis on middle distance pedigrees, horses that took a bit of time to come to fruition. Japan bought into that a long time ago, and even like her sire Kazuna is by Deep Impact, who's by Sunday Silence. You know, they have taken a long time to get these horses to where they are, and it's still bearing fruit now.
I mean, she ran 4th last year in this race, but the difference being she came in such a little better form. And I think, you know, obviously she's proven she can handle herself on the dirt. She was slow out of the gate. If she breaks a little quicker out of the dirt and runs to last year's race, maybe she could split the field. But again, she was 4th in a field of 7.
She was 6 lengths behind Torpedo Anna, who might win this race by 7 if she's the Torpedo Anna who was crowned the champion last year. There's a look at the marquee. Everyone's looking at the horses, feeling that sea breeze from the Pacific. We'll have more here on The Breakfast Show when we continue right after this.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints, or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
NetJets is more. And with NetJets, you get more. More exceptional service. Heightened safety standards. And anytime access to where you're needed most. Do more and miss less with NetJets.
Welcome to the 2025 Keeneland September Yearling Sale, where history was made when Three Chimneys Gunrunner, the sire of 2025 Grade 1 winners Sierra Leone, Locked, and Brent, became the first horse in the history of the Keeneland September Sale to sire the session topper of each of the first 4 sessions. Among them was the $3.3 million sale topper, purchased by Peter Brent, M.V. Magner, and Winchell Thoroughbreds. Gunrunner, Breed Shaper, Dream Maker.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
How fast is not this time's fastest son?
It is Cogburn to catch, 3/16 to go.
Cogburn fast.
No doubt about it, it is Cogburn.
He's running power play. Cogburn
dominates the Jaipur in 59.80 seconds.
How fast is not this time's fastest son? Cogburn fast.
There's a look at your Alcibiades winner, Percy's Bar for Ben Colebrook. Only blemish on the record was that spinaway runner-up to Tommy Joe, but a super talented filly.
Yeah, I mean, she crossed the wire first. I mean, she tried to turn the tables on Tommy Joe, but she had to sideswipe it.
Oh, right, she was DQ'd. I forgot about that.
Can I ask about that race?
Yeah,
because
go ahead.
In the UK, it's almost certain that she would have kept the race because of the winning distance. Obviously, our rules are very different to yours. And were you both convinced that Tommy Joe would have won without the interference?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't convinced, and you have to remember our rules are different from state to state. So in California, I think she probably comes down as well, but in this state, it's not a foul as a foul. In this state, it would be, did it cost her a chance at a better placing?
Right.
I don't think it did. I think there was more of an argument. But I think in Kentucky, they're more likely to do DQ in that scenario.
Yeah, California, it says, did the infraction cost the horse a better placing? And, you know, obviously in the top 5 when it concerns purse money and betting choices down to the top 4. But which it's very subjective. You don't know, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was a hefty bump. I get that.
Yes, and it did knock her off her correct lead.
Yeah.
So you don't know. But I mean, at no point did I ever think Tommy Joe was going by, right?
When I watched the race back and Tommy Joe gets up alongside, they looked like they were locking horns, getting into a battle.
Yeah.
But Tommy Joe wasn't flying by. It wasn't.
Right.
Didn't look at it. And then the other Percy's Bar seems to be hitting the line much harder than Tommy Joe, who did have that bump. So I didn't think it was clear cut that Tommy Joe would have won.
Yeah, I'm going to chalk it up to a definite maybe. Ben Colebrook's charge here on the track right now, though, as she's 9-2 on the morning line. Leone Machado will be the rider as he's piloted her in each and every one of her 4 starts. But out on the track, how does she look, Simon?
She looks good. Look at her hair. I mean, she's got a head tucked down, bow between her legs, and I mean, she deserves to be here despite getting disqualified just on the form with Tommy Joe. But she improved. I like the fact that she improved in her first start around 2 turns at 1 mile and 60.
As Percy's Bar and the juvenile fillies. In the juvenile, Ted Noffey, we're going to take a look at, will be the 4-5 morning line favorite. And this was earlier today, and as Andy promised, the exercise rider for Ted Noffey wearing the jockey cam for us. This is great. A great view of the favorite in the juvenile out on the track earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, this horse was really impressive in all 3 starts. He's got all the makings of a precocious 2-year-old, and he's done everything right from sprinting to stretching out. He relaxed nicely last time, beat Blackout Time. I think that was a great rendition of the Breeders' Futurity. And, I mean, he's sitting on a decent race. And I like the fact how mature he is mentally. Todd Pletcher's touched on that earlier this week. Are you familiar with the whole Ned Toffee, Ted Noffey? Yeah, you've listened to it.
Yeah.
Listen intently to you both.
Pishy Rassad.
That's actually very close to what my real name is.
So Ned Toffee clearly is one of the integral parts of the operation at Spendthrift, and then he was one of the trade publications had the wrong name. They flip-flopped the letters. There was a typo, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own. But here's the thing that's brilliant about the naming, and I know people are like, oh, who cares about the name? I care about the name, because when you name a horse this, what are the chances they turn into something like this? That's the thing.
Yeah.
How many great names have been wasted on horses that couldn't pick their feet up?
Absolutely. When I heard you originally talking about it earlier this week, the thing that struck in my mind was there a horse, a Covfefe?
Covfefe, yeah. Cherie DeVoe had that horse. Wasn't it Cherie?
No.
Oh,
it was
Brad Cox.
It was Alan-J. Fox.
That's what it was.
That wasn't the name that wasn't what he intended to say, but they went with it and named the horse after it. Yeah.
Great. Here's a look earlier today, and this is just to go out on the track and take a look around, get those legs stretched out for Ted Noffey. All the hard work has been done for just about every one of the horses we're seeing today.
Is this one of the, would you call it a lock? I mean, we call it bankers back home. Would this be a banker?
I stay away from locks in the juvenile races, right? Because from race to race at this age, they can just be such different animals.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, look, if I've got a fantasy horse racing draft with Billy Koch and Little Red Feather later today, And if I can get Ted Noffey, I'm going to take Ted Noffey. Don't get me wrong. But as far as backing, I mean, this is an opportunity to beat a short price on one of the big days. And if you do beat a Ted Noffey, you leave with every dollar on the racetrack. That's why this is the best game in the world. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more on the breakfast shows after this.
Calling all, trillionaires, calling all, trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya
Ever gonna get from rewards that start day one.
so we're calling all, trillionaires, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, trillionaires,
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Elegance is an attitude.
FanDuel's Breakfast at the Breeders' Cup is presented by WinStar Farm and by Phasic Tipton.
Defending Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Sierra Leone just got back from the track. Chad, as you watch him in preparation for his final start, what are you looking for and what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I just consistent, good, solid, normal training from him. He's at his par. I mean, he's a beautiful mover. He's been so consistent his whole career. Just bring him happy and healthy, and right now I just love where he's at.
As far as pacing of his races, he's coming in about the same way he did last year, but what is, if anything, is different?
I wouldn't say there's much different. Honestly, he's coming in as good as last year. His last work was as good as I've seen all year from him. As you saw him just train, he's shining, and it's just a picture of health right now, which you'd love to see as a trainer going into a big race. And I love the way he's moving. He's switching his leads perfect. He's nice and straight, and he's just a consummate professional, this source, really.
Also, in the starting gate for the Classic, contrary thinking, what went into the decision to enter him?
Just to, establish a fair and honest pace. Maybe get the field, really. The main objective is get the field to just maybe string out just a touch to give everyone in the race a fair shot to pick their lane where they want to be instead of being a bit bunched up. And look, if nobody goes with the horse, I think the horse has a lot of ability. The last couple of times it didn't work out for him. He did miss the break, 2 back. He kind of got rushed up and faded, and then last time it was a messy race. But the horse, when he broke his mane, he had a big figure. He's fast, and this track can carry, and if they totally forget about the horse, he might be able to get a piece of the race. I've had it happen before. I've won races with pacemakers, big races. So he's in there, and I just hope that the field gets, like I said, just strung out just a touch where everyone in the field can get a comfortable lane that they pick.
Those are just 2 of your 7 Breeders' Cup runners. In terms of the filly and mare turf, there's been a lot spoken about the configuration of the race, so I have to believe that you feel for Village Voice, this is what she will shine on.
Yeah, interesting horse because she hadn't run in nearly a year, and then she came back at a Maryland's race and won. That's pretty hard to do. She has a race under her belt. She's definitely going to improve off of it and run faster. Whether it's fast enough to win this race, it remains to be seen. I love the cozy inside draw. Of course, Pratt on her is a huge, huge plus. And she's given a great appearance the last 2 mornings galloping here. So I'm optimistic that she's in the mix.
Redistricting Hill Road in the turf. Obviously, Europeans take center stage in that race, but where do they fit?
Well, Hill Road has a difficult draw outside. He lacks a little bit of turn of foot, so he's going to have to work a trip out from there. That said, he certainly traveled to Del Mar and ran super at long odds, albeit on the dirt last year, so he's familiar with the environment. He's definitely a stayer and get a 1.5 miles. Redistricting is an interesting horse. He's got a much better draw. He was a soundly beaten second to the race favorite, so that's a daunting task. But I feel like this horse is going to prefer this turf better. He likes shortcut turf, very, very firm turf. You see his best race was at Monmouth this year. I'd say that my experience Del Mar is a bit similar to that course, so I think he can close the gap a little bit. He wouldn't be beaten quite as far on this course. But anything can happen in these big races. There's sometimes you get a great trip and sometimes, favorites get bad trips. So we're in there to see if we can get a piece. It's $5 million, so any piece of that I'll take.
You've got program trading. You've got Chancellor McPatrick. You've got quite the arsenal coming into the Breeders' Cup. But as far as Sierra Leone goes, one last question. With the absence of sovereignty, how does that change things?
Well, obviously you got the race favorite out now, unfortunately for everyone. I was really looking forward to him running. Not that I'm anxious to take on a horse that's so impressive and so consistent, but the pathway to Horse of the Year is really winning a race with everybody in it. So, and for the fans and everyone involved, and for Bill as a friend of mine, I feel terrible. I've been in similar situations before in big race days with heavy favorites having to come out. But now with him out of the way, there's plenty of other contenders in there to deal with. So difficult race. There's still a handful of horses I could see if they ran their best race on Saturday could win, and we're one of them.
No such thing as an easy Breeders' Cup, that's for sure. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. As we take a look at the breakfast marquee. Welcome back to the set here, Paddock side on the Breakfast Show. Very pleased to welcome into the program the head honcho. That is the president and CEO of the Breeders' Cup, Drew Fleming, who joins me now. Happy Breeders' Cup week. Thanks for joining us here.
Absolutely. I mean, this wouldn't be the Breeders' Cup without you. You and your team have done a fantastic job. It's been just a pleasure watching the Breakfast Show every morning. And like our fans, we're the best fans from around the world.
Yep.
And thank you for showcasing our sport the way you do.
Really appreciate the bringing us a little bit of a pen to play in here. It's a lot of fun. I want to start with sovereignty. I know that for you just want all these horses to get out there, find, safe, and run their race. And we always lose some stars, but we lost the biggest star in the Classic this year. So, look, we'll start on that. I know you wanted to say something to the connections, and it's a blow for everybody involved.
Absolutely. I mean, our thoughts go out to Godolphin, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, Bill Mott, the team, their entire connections. Very disappointing, but that organization does the right thing every single time and puts the welfare of the horse first. Just ran into Bill Mott a minute ago. I mean, such a horseman, such a gentleman, and it's an honor to have people like that in this business.
I mean, the lows of this sport can be very low, and the highs are the highest in the game, but it's one of those unfortunate situations.
The highs are high, the lows are low. Emotions run deep in this sport, but that's what makes it so special. And you look at this sport, unlike some other sports, it really is a community.
Yeah.
Come out here, grab a cup of coffee, see people from all over the world, and our passion for racing and the thoroughbred is what we all share. So, devastating when something like this happens. But again, that team is fantastic, tremendous supporters of the Breeders' Cup, and we know they'll be back.
We anticipate to see what decisions made. I would imagine there's a chance sovereignty ends up in Dubai in the World Cup for Sheikh Mohammed. But let's get to here now today. It's the second of back-to-back years at Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup. What is it about this venue What is it about this place and the people here in California that make it such a classic host site?
Well, where the turf meets the surf. I mean, sitting there having breakfast, looking at the Pacific Ocean, watching the best horses in the world train this morning. It's just an amazing environment. And, you know, like I said, the Breeders' Cup has the best fans.
Yeah.
They're so loyal to us, and we love to have a place like this that showcases the best of our sport, the equestrian lifestyle, but also beaches, cold margaritas, and just a place to have fun.
Yeah, it really is. And it's amazing it took that long for us to get a Breeders' Cup here. And now it's kind of become part of the regular rotation. I mean, the last 10 years, you look how different the Breeders' Cup is. We never had a Breeders' Cup at Keeneland before 2015. We'd never had a Breeders' Cup at Del Mar, and now those two have become the most popular host sites in the last 10 years.
I mean, they're wonderful facilities. I mean, we're so excited about the upcoming rotation from the Breeders' Cup. Back-to-back years in Del Mar. Josh Rubenstein and his team, they do a phenomenal job. The place is just looking beautiful right now, and we can see that from support from our fans and attendance. Next year at Keeneland, Shannon Arvin and her team are Augusta National. Just beautiful. They've recently renovated and put over $100 million into the facility, and it'll be awesome to showcase that. And then finally, Belmont Park. David O'Rourke's here this week checking everything out, and they've invested $450 million. It's a really an exciting time for our sport to see this investment in these infrastructures. We're in the sports and entertainment business,
right?
And facilities like that. I mean, our fans can't be more excited for a wonderful Breeders' Cup World Championships rotation.
It's an entertainment business, and I think sometimes that gets lost in our industry, and I'm glad to hear that come out of your mouth, because we really are in the entertainment game, and that's the audience. We're competing for entertainment dollars. We're competing for attention. And it was really nice. I mean, there were some venue concerns about Belmont in the past. They bulldozed the whole place for you, Drew. I mean, that must have been really flattering, and a big thank you to David.
Well, our chairman, Barbara Banke, she's amazing, and Barbara and I wrote the governor of New York a letter, stole a line from the Field of Dreams. If you build it, we will come.
Right.
And we're honoring that promise. And we haven't been in the Big Apple in 20 years, so we're so excited to be back there. And there's some wonderful moments in Breeders' Cup's history up there, you know, with Tis Now wins for America.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an awesome series.
So, you know, my wife works for NYRA. She actually did a walkthrough with the hard hat on the new facility last week. If you need any insight,
perfect.
I'll ask her. Let's talk about a day, and not just any day, a day in the life of the president and CEO of Breeders' Cup. Do you get to enjoy it? There's so much on your plate. How much do you get to watch the racing, enjoy what we see before we got to get going on 2026? Do you give yourself a day, a week, or is it just right back at it?
Well, no, I mean, I have the best job in the world. I absolutely love going to work every single day. I've got a wonderful team. My colleagues, their passion for racing, their passion for this business. We couldn't do anything without them. So I want to thank them for all their hard work. Also have a wonderful board of directors. They're the leaders of the thoroughbred business. Their support, innovation, and thoughtfulness is what makes this all happen. And then our nominators, who are the backbone, which allow us to put on the World Championships.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. You got to put your fan hat on. We know you do a good job as president and CEO, but as a racing fan, you can't say the classic. Give me a race that you're really looking forward to this year's Breeders' Cup, or two. What are some of the things that you're really anticipating as a fan?
Yeah, I mean, and the best part is we've got 14 championship races. They're all amazing. In particular this year, really excited about the turf. Rebels Romance, you know, coming back could be win 3, so you look like a Goldnikova.
Yeah.
But I also think, you know, the mile is also just a classic Breeders' Cup race.
Yeah.
Now Friday with the 5 juveniles. I think it's going to be some really, really good racing.
Yeah, it's going to be outstanding. I want to talk about your tenure at the helm of Breeders' Cup. Tell me about some of the initiatives, some of the accomplishments. I'm not expecting you to take credit, because I know you're going to be humble about it, but I want you to talk about the team and some of the things that have gone on since you've been at the helm that you're really proud of.
Well, I think the Breeders' Cup is becoming more international every single day, and we've seen that through numbers. This year we have 13 countries participating in the Breeders' Cup, which is a testament to the brand and just the World Championships. Last year we had record global wagering. We're anticipating 39 countries will be betting into either separate or commingled pools this year.
Yeah.
And we've increased the Challenge Series. We had 93 Challenge Series races in 15 countries and 5 continents. So this is the year-end World Championships, and as we continue to grow, have great partnerships with racetracks and racing entities all over the world. And the nice part about the Breeders' Cup, this is an industry asset.
Yeah.
Every single dollar we get, we put back in this business to grow this great sport we all love, and it's an honor to be, to be involved with a company like this.
And can I say, I've been with TVG and now FanDuel for 24 years now. I started in 2001. And this year's the first time that we've been allowed to show all the Breeders' Cup races. You can catch them all on Peacock as well, and of course the brilliant shows they do on NBC. And before people think we're competitors, we're all friends in this business. I know just about everybody that works at every other outlet, and we've all worked together in some capacity. But on behalf of FanDuel, I just want to say thank you for everything that the Breeders' Cup has meant for us, giving us the opportunity to showcase these races on our airwaves this year like we never have before.
No, you guys have been phenomenal partners, and the reviews we've been getting from the breakfast shows, everybody says, do this every single day.
Yeah.
It's been fun, and we're very excited for our World Championships. Like I said, continuous coverage on FanDuel, the player show, it's amazing, and it's just going to be a great Breeders' Cup.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everything you do for the sport and for the Breeders' Cup, and we're really looking forward to a great event this weekend.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. That's Drew Fleming, President and CEO of the Breeders' Cup. We are going to take a break. When we return, more on the breakfast show. Still got about 45 minutes left. Also, Simon is getting me a flat white from the baristas, so hopefully it'll power me through the last bit of the show.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
FanDuel held a shooting contest to promote its new MySpend tool. MySpend makes it easy to view your deposit and bet history all in one place. Because betting without knowing how much you're spending is like shooting in the dark. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's MySpend tool part of your system and stop shooting in the dark.
Calling all trillionaires. Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with the weekly bonus back, our thrills are filled up to the brim.
So we're calling all trillionaires. Calling all trillionaires.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket? No, but we do make them work. Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Liam O'Rourke, Director of Stallion Sales at WinStar Farm. WinStar Farm having a couple interests here in the Breeders' Cup this year. Mulligan has been looking excellent.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited about Mulligan. We've got a really unique opportunity this evening where we're going to offer 25% share in him at the Keeneland Championship sale. Again, I think really unique opportunity to get in on a live horse, very live horse. He was third in this race last year. You can have a runner on Saturday, and then you've got the added layer of a ready-made stallion career to come at WinStar. So we're excited to offer that piece tonight, and he's thriving. He's doing really well, and we're excited.
So not only will 25% of Mulligan be offered up for sale tonight, but he'll also be joining the WinStar Farm Stallion roster next year. Tell us a little bit more about a couple other stallions joining the roster.
Yeah, so we have 3 Grade 1 winning sprinters joining our roster, led by Patch Adams, dual Grade 1 winner this summer in Saratoga. Beautiful son of Into Mischief joining us. We have Straight No Chaser, who won the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year, Eclipse champion sprinter, and then we have Mulligan joining us as well. So 3 Grade 1 winning sprinters, 3 different sire lines, 3 very fast horses, and yeah, they've been received very well so far.
And while I have you here, Liam, I have to ask, because I've been a massive Life is Good fan from day one. How are his yearlings looking?
Yeah, he had beautiful first crop yearlings this year. I was thinking about it this morning. It was just a few years ago we were here when he won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile so impressively. Had some wonderful yearlings this year. 7-figure colts, 7-figure fillies. We've got first 2-year-olds coming up next year. I think he's priced really well for 2026, and we've been very busy on him so far.
Liam, best of luck to you and the WinStar Farm family this weekend. By the way, if you guys haven't watched the Larry Colmus video where he invades WinStar.
So good, yeah, so much fun. It's going over very well on social media and all those outlets. So it's really good if you haven't seen it.
Watch the video, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome, thank you, Andy.
Well, don't ruin it. We wanted to pretend like it was real. Okay, pretend like you didn't hear what you just said. Larry Colmus, he was looking for a place to stay, and lo and behold, he stumbled upon WinStar Farm.
Oh, WinStar? I've called a bunch of their stallions. I'm sure they'd be happy to see me.
Look, this guy showed up 2 weeks ago. I thought he was part of the tour. Now he just won't go away.
Outside and Santos to Wilson.
Life is good. Really, really, really good.
Is that Larry Colmus? Now look at him. He's out there with headphones and a microphone yelling at the trophy case about some kind of race he called years ago. The microphone's not even plugged in.
And here he is.
It's like he's just taking over the whole place.
It's a one-horse race. It's Constitution.
It's one thing that he's sleeping on my couch.
The fastest son of Not This Time. No doubt about it's Cogburn.
Now he's feeding my horses.
They're in their stalls. We're ready for the start. It's time for the Breakfast of Champions. Are you ready, boys? We've got oats. We've got sweet feed. We've got molasses. All with a drizzle of rice bran oil.
He's talking to them like they're people.
So two Phils walk into a barn, right? And the one Phil says to the other Phil, this is great, what's better than one Phil but two Phils? You get it?
Heck, the other day I think I saw him getting emotional support from one of them.
Hey, you got a second? I mean, we're two independent guys. We've been on the same circuit. I want to know how you do it.
Who knows what he's going to do next?
Larry, we got to get rolling. We got 3 Grade 1 winners in 2026. Mulligan, Patch Adams, and Straight No Chaser. Let's go.
I'm on it, boss.
Colmus, you got to go. We love everything you do. We love your race calls, but it's about to get really busy here. We got stallions to show. It's go time.
But what would I do between now and Breeders' Cup?
I don't care where you go. You just can't stay here, Larry.
Is there like an Oscar ceremony for best stallion commercials of the year? Because that wins.
That was great. I know where he did go after that, the Pamplemousse.
I don't think they were serving up sweet feed and molasses, though, at Pamplemousse. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go to Michelle Yu.
Yeah. The places that you'll go to hide from me. The gate. I've never seen you at the gate.
Never seen me at the gate?
No. What are we doing here?
Strange. I haven't seen you back here either.
My first time. What are we doing?
We just bought a horse named Touch of Destiny and run the dirt mile back here to school and bounce out of here and run across the chute a little ways.
How do you go?
It was very good.
Thanks. This is a very normal interview. I'm scared. What's that mean for the rest of my day?
I don't know.
Can I have a hug?
Sure.
Have a great day, Michael.
Okay, I'm just playing fangirl right now because I had to get my picture taken with A.G. Bullet, the 5-year-old mare who makes her swan song in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. In talking to Richie Baltus, he describes her as having the heart of a lion. She came oh so close to victory in last year's Breeders' Cup, and in this, her final start before going to the sales and off to her next chapter as a broodmare, goes into the Breeders' Cup off of a series of impressive wins. Little space in between. The camp is really excited. very hopeful that perhaps this year could be the year to get that Breeders' Cup victory to send her off on that high note. But in the meantime, it's just fun to gaze at her. She seems to know that she's something special.
Thank you very much, Caton. Silver Bullet, AG Bullet. There, as we've got horses. Hi there. Wasn't a Breeders' Cup horse, no saddle towel. I do have a Breeders' Cup horse that we're going to take you right on the back of. Now, this is a body cam that we have on Andy Biancone. She is on the track with Lenny Lou as we speak, Simon. We've been talking about this. So you're getting a little bit different perspective as our reporter doing her day job here of working her Breeders' Cup hopeful.
Yeah, usually the jockey cam, it's attached to the helmet, but this is a new camera that's been just starting to come into play here. There's a jockey at Parks called Ramon Moya. And it's a tremendous story. You know, he had a lot of issues away from the track, kind of right at the ship, and he's got such a huge following now. And he posts these videos every day, and it's a camera that is attached to the chest. And look, it's a close-up look there, but sometimes, I don't know whether you can go full screen or you get a better view. It gives you a much wider perspective than it being on the helmet. So Andy's graciously accepted to wear that, and Lenny Lou always goes out at this time. And she's looked the same each and every morning, pretty much, to me.
She has, and I don't know if Andy B can hear us. Great job with that cross. Look at that, Simon.
Yep.
Just has her hands in an absolute perfect spot, not moving whatsoever. And you hit the nail on the head, though, Simon. Every single morning, Lenny Lou's look like this. She's got her ears straight up. Yeah, here's a really good shot of Andy B's hands. This is exactly what you want to do when you're galloping a horse. You have what's called a cross right there, which it's exactly what it sounds like. You cross the reins over, make a knot right there, and then just keep it right on the horse's withers and try not to move at all. And that way the horse just gets in a really good rhythm all the way around the racetrack.
Let me ask you this. Is there a reason she's riding Michael Jackson style with just one glove?
That's probably personal reference.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. That might be just personal preference. But this might be a good time to get Joe on the Equicizer. Show what a cross is.
Oh, yeah, we flew the
Equicizer
Equicizer down. We haven't used it at all, but today might be the day to bust it out.
Because a lot of people see the reins, right? They think, oh, the left rein goes in the left hand, the right rein, there's no. But you have to cross them over. It's hard to see with the mane in the way there. But, yeah, there's a big cross, and you just set your hands down either side of the wither.
I can only imagine what it's like to be Andy Biancone right now. She's covering the sport at the pinnacle of this game, and then she's starting one in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint as well. So both of her jobs could not be more important than they are right now.
And you get to see it all on FanDuel TV.
Look at you, company guy.
That's right.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you another pullover for that.
I'm still on board, no, Mike.
We're going to reward you with a slightly used breakfast at the Breeders' Cup coffee mug. As Lenny Lou out on the track right now under Andy Biancone.
She showed me a picture this morning, Andy. First thing about 6 o'clock this morning, she goes, Simon, take a look at this. This is a small 2-year-old filly. She showed me a picture of what she gets fed at night. There's a massive amount of food. And then literally 30 minutes later, an empty feed tub. And then she went back and gave Lenny Lou another half a scoop of feed, and within 15 minutes, gone, completely gone. That's really good for a young 2-year-old filly like that.
That really is.
Because that's the difference between colts and fillies, right? Colts, they'll put the weight on, but fillies, it's hard to keep the weight on them, right?
Exactly, yeah. You could see it pulling. Like when she came down to a slower gait there, that chest cam gave a much wider perspective than the helmet cam. Pretty good view.
Let's check in once again with Michelle Yu.
He was hiding right now. He said he was taking a page out of Michael McCarthy's book. You didn't want to come and talk on the breakfast show, Graham Motion?
I was pulling a Michael McCarthy.
I love it. You got a couple of horses here. I feel like they're flying under the radar, and I really like Turf Store, which could be good for my handicapping.
Yeah, I mean, we just stood him in the gate. Look, I thought he ran super in the Bourbon. I think Tyler was a little frustrated when he came back that he couldn't get out sooner. But look, he hasn't done much wrong, this little horse. He's a cool horse.
And you also have the South African horse, One Stripe. What do we make of the Woodbine race for him?
I mean, I think it was an incredible mistake by his trainer to point him for that race as his first start in America or Northern Hemisphere. Look, he ran well enough. I think he was beaten 4 or 5 lengths. It was just a really tough spot. I mean, he gave everybody weight, including what's going to be the favorite on Saturday. So, I think he'll improve for that race. He's done really well the last couple of weeks. He's had some great works at Fair Hill. So I'm pleased with him, but I know it's a tough assignment. I'm tickled with the one hole. I just spoke to Juan Hernandez, and he's really pleased. So
You also have some insight into some things that are going around. First of all, the whole conversation with the rabbit. You had a very notorious rabbit for Better Talk now. Can you talk about the use of a pace setter?
yeah, I'm trying to stay under the radar about that too. But we did, I mean, Shake the Bang ran in the Breeders' Cup, and, you know, he actually helped Better Talk Now win on several occasions. And actually, Shake the Bang almost pulled off the United Nations one year. We were quite surprised that at the 16th pole he was hanging in there. But look, it was a huge difference for Better Talk Now. He needed pace. If he ran in a paceless race, it was a real struggle for him, and Shake the Bang really did the job. So I'm all about the rabbit.
And also, he was 9 years old, Better Talk Now, when he won the Breeders' Cup, I believe. There's a horse that's 9 this year, Kadem. Any advice for bringing a senior citizen to the Breeders' Cup?
Yeah, I mean, Better Talk Now, he didn't win it when he was 9, but he came back 5 years in a row. The last time he ran in it was when he was 9. And he's a horse, I think, that goes a little bit under the radar, because if he beats Red Rocks at Churchill, he goes down as a 2-time turf winner, and I think that would have been remarkable for him. But he was a great horse. Yeah, the rabbits are good. I'm with rabbits.
All right, we're pro bunny over here on the backside, guys.
I don't have a dog, though. All your
Oh, I have no dogs, right? I have no dogs, no goats. Maybe we should just find a bunny in the bushes.
I'll let you down there.
Can you go buy a dog, and then I'll meet back up with you?
I'd be happy to find a dog, I'm sure.
You have a turkey.
We used to have a turkey. Our turkey is no longer, I'm afraid.
Oh, Tom Turkey is gone. Time to get a new one. I'll pull it. Just in time for Thanksgiving.
We have a goat.
A goat?
Yeah.
I have one too. Not my favorite.
But we didn't bring him here, so.
See, okay, we're gonna find Graham a pet bunny and a turkey and check back.
Lots of action this morning at the Todd Pletcher barn. Todd, we saw your classic horses stand early this morning. Mindframe, Fierceness, Antiquarian. How were they in the gates?
Perfect. Yeah, everything went very smoothly. They had routine gallops and all stood at the gate quietly, so happy with all three of them.
I know you took them out at 6:30 before the show started. Did you have the opportunity to gallop Fierceness out and cross the chute, or is that just something that is not going to be part of the game plan?
No, we just let him, once he backed out of the gate, we just had him go straight across the chute and didn't want to complicate things too much, but we did want to go the right way across the chute, and he handled it perfectly.
And in terms of what the next few days look like, is it just bubble wrapping, keeping everybody happy?
Yeah, we're going to paddock school here shortly. Assuming all that goes smoothly, then it'll just be routine gallops from here.
Todd, thank you so much.
All right, you got it.
Todd's still the only person in racing I get intimidated interviewing.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I still do. And I've talked to him like off camera. I've seen that dry sense of humor. We were judges together at jockey karaoke once, and I don't know, I wash out a little bit.
I've seen some reporters ask that kind of come to the Derby that don't cover horse racing, ask the most insane, dumbest questions to him, and he just handles it. He doesn't throw him under the bus. He just kind of just.
I think I'm worried about what he thinks of me. That's what I'm worried. I'm like, God, I really
you should, Mike.
Yeah, I really.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, what he told me and Joe the other morning,
Yeah.
I don't think you want to know.
No, he likes you.
Yeah, he really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you should interview him tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah.
I want to see you just wash out.
Seriously, instead of looking like the man who ate Alberto Reisi like I usually do.
Hi, Todd.
That'll be. I think I need we got a commercial here.
Oh, yeah.
Taking some verbal abuse from my cohorts. All right, we're gonna take a commercial break. I'm gonna consult HR. We'll be back on the breakfast show. I don't know who's gonna be on the set though.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints. Or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
As a two-time Grade 1 winner with 6 consecutive triple-digit buyers, Liam's Map has taken that success to stud, a proven sire, from the sales ring to the winner's circle, with hundreds of 6-figure yearling sales and multiple Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, including recent Grade 1 winners Burnham Square and Deterministic. Liam's Map, standing at Lane's End.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. Take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat. John Deere is the official partner of the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Of course, earlier today, the announcement was made by Bill Mott and Sovereignty's connection that he would be withdrawn from the Breeders' Cup because the fever that he spiked yesterday did indeed come back. He's on antibiotics. No Breeders' Cup Classic for the headliner and the most popular horse in the U.S.
I mean, yeah, that was very, very sad news. We learned yesterday that he did obviously have a fever, and they were giving him medication to try and tamper it down. But unfortunately, I think it was yesterday afternoon, he said he kind of spiked it a little more. So I made the right decision to scratch him, but very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, as unfortunate it is, out of all the things that could happen from 1 to 100, this is the best case scenario as far as there's no injury. He's not going to have to go to the sidelines for 6 months. You know, we don't know what his future is. There's no forced into retirement because of a fever. So, you know, the potential's there for him to come back next year and race. And Rishi Prasad touched on it. You know, the 30th anniversary of the Dubai World Cup. Bill won the first one that really set the whole race on the map with Cigar and that great battle with Soul of the Matter. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see him next year.
It was how we started the show. It was the most important news in the entire sport. And Scott Hazelton, right off the top, caught up with Bill Mott.
Yeah, Bill, you told us that if things came back overnight or at any point from when we last spoke to you, that you would go ahead and scratch. Is that what happened?
Right. Yeah, I'd mentioned, I said if he respikes another fever, he'll be out of the Breeders' Cup. And yesterday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, he respiked another fever, even though he'd had some medication in him from 6 o'clock that morning. He respiked another fever, and we retreated him, and of course now he's on antibiotics. Seems to be doing well this morning. His temp's down to just 1 tick above normal, and he looks bright and looks pretty good. But he's definitely out of the Breeders' Cup. I mean, there's no, you know, he'll be scratched.
Have you seen any change in his demeanor at all?
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, he still has not missed an oat. He's in his hay bag. He eats all the hay and alfalfa that's on the ground, and he goes to his hay bag, and he's got his nose in there, and he seems to have a good attitude. I mean, he doesn't. I don't know if he knows he's sick.
How do you process this with the timing of it and everything? Is there anything that you can look back on or just rely on from your experiences?
There's nothing that I would have changed. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, when it comes to something like this, I think it's just really bad luck. I think you've got viruses and bacteria floating around through the air, and for whatever reason, his immune system probably didn't battle it off, and you know, it's just really bad timing for us. I mean, you know, we would love to run. We'd love to showcase our horse. I know there was a lot of people that were really looking forward to seeing him run, as well as our entire team. I mean, we were very anxious and excited about the opportunity to run in probably what is, you know, shaped up to be probably one of the best, you know, Breeders' Cup Classics in some time, or arguably that way. And but we won't have that opportunity this year.
You still obviously have Scylla here and getting her ready for the Breeders' Cup, but when it comes to Sovereignty in these days, and then once the Breeders' Cup wraps up, will he go back to New York? Will he go back to Kentucky? What will be the plan?
It's always been the plan for him to go back through Kentucky. You know, we want to send him back there until a final decision is made on whether or not he's going to race next year or not, and that's where he'll go. I mean, right now he's scheduled to go back to Kentucky on like Monday or Tuesday.
Does that require a huddle with the team at Godolphin in determining what will happen in 2026?
Yes, absolutely. You've got Dan Pride, Michael Banahan, and of course in Dubai you've got Sheikh Mohammed himself, and I'm sure they'll all be, you know, putting their heads together and deciding what they're going to do, and the final word will be from Sheikh Mohammed.
We appreciate the update. Unfortunate news, Bill, but you're doing right by the horse, and we carry on.
Hey, thank you. Hopefully we'll be back.
Bill Mott, class act, you can see, and of course, as is the rule with this game, all of us put the safety and the well-being of the animal first. And you know, it's a fever. It's nothing big. Just the timing is the only problem with it. It's right before the Breeders' Cup, and he has to miss.
Yeah, I mean, the timing couldn't have been worse. But what Simon alluded to earlier, on a scale from 1 to 100, this is best case scenario. It's not like it's a major injury where there's no shot of coming back in 2026. Once he gets over this, hopefully in good order, they're obviously going to huddle together, but lives to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, horses can get sick and get legitimately sick, and they don't look well. He's giving you all the signs that he's fine. He's just a mild fever, so he'll recover quickly, and he'll probably, like you said, ship back Monday or Tuesday.
The only way they knew is the thermometer. If it wasn't for the thermometer, you would never know it.
Right.
You would never know it. As we take a look at the updated morning line, David Aragona doing a great job of retooling that morning line with the absence of the morning line favorite in Sovereignty. Now Fierceness made the favorite at 5-2 with Forever Young and Sierra Leone. Co second choices at 7-2.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked up now. An only really big long shot is Contrary Thinking at 50-1. But besides that, I mean, we've been talking about it all week. It is such a competitive classic this weekend, and just really looking forward to it. Cannot wait.
It's going to be an excellent race. Regardless of the scratch of Sovereignty, we still have an incredibly deep and talented running of the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. Scott?
Well, Aiden O'Brien taking his runners out this morning to the track once again, single file to the gate. What's the purpose of taking your group to the gate?
Well, yeah, we always do, just to take them here and stand them in, and usually to go to the gates and stand in today, and they might go around the paddock tomorrow. So that's what we always do, Scott, and we just feel it relaxes them a little bit, and it's kind of just obviously showing them what's coming, really, and just trying to prepare them the best we can, really.
What's different about the gate experience here versus back in Europe?
Yeah, well, we have the your gates back at home as well, but it's a different. It's on the dirt, and where the gates are there, and the gates are a little bit tighter here. They're a little bit longer, a little bit tighter, and it's nice for them to go down there, get the experience, and then the horses around at the back, the hacks and all that kind of stuff. It's just when they go to the start here, even though we've jumped them from the American stalls with the bell at home and all that, it's when they go to the start, it's a different atmosphere here. So it's just getting them ready a little bit for the atmosphere when they go to the start here Friday and Saturday.
Did they all handle it well?
All very good. Everyone seemed very happy. The lads were great with them. They just took them in and stood them in and backed them out. So they all seemed to go good.
7 runners. Who's the one horse that you're looking forward to the most this weekend?
Oh, gee, I'm not sure. Listen, there's obviously some of them there with chances, and obviously I suppose Minnie in the Turf Classic has is she's been a great filly all year, and I think. Listen, it's very sporting of the lads to let her come and run. She just got behind the arc. It was a great run out for her, we thought. We always thought she would handle and like this place. She likes nice ground. She's tactically usually quick, and yeah, it will be interesting to see what she does.
You had the option of running in the turf at a mile and a half versus the filly mare turf at a mile and 3/8. What ultimately led you to go to the mile and a half, taking on the boys again?
We were always going to go there if everything went okay in the arc. Obviously, the arc was the first time she took on the older coals, and we felt that went well, and she was just a little bit unlucky on the day. But yeah, that was always, and we had bedtime story for the fillies, so obviously trying to split them up. But we always had it in our head if everything went well in the arc that Minnie would go for the turf.
And Precise, a wonderful filly. How would you describe the year that she's had so far?
She's incredible. Like she's incredible. What she's done from run to run, she just kept upgrading every run. She's a hardy filly. She's pacey. She stays. The last day she won the Fillies Mile in Newmarket, and like I think she was the most impressive Fillies Mile winner we ever had. She's an unbelievable attitude. She's obviously out of a Galileo mare, and she's really has the attitude and the determination of the mare, and obviously she's by Star Spangled Banner, so that's where she's getting her speed from. So yeah, but I suppose those real good Galileo mares are they put something very different into horses, and she has it. She's loads of personality, loads of cut in her, and yeah, no, she's exciting.
Just going back to overall experience and being here at the Breeders' Cup and the various venues, Del Mar, Santa Anita, Keeneland, the places that we've gone, and you've run world-class horses. Is there different ways of approaching each of these different venues at this time of the year for you and your team?
Sure, I think probably always little things really. It's always the little things that make the difference, and we try and talk to everybody in case we have to know anything different, and obviously tracks can be different, and draw biases can be different on different tracks. And I suppose like Jerry Jerry Bailey is always very good to us every year. We always have a meeting with him a couple of days before, and he goes through everything with us, and anything that we haven't missed or he thinks that we should know, he always lets us know. So we're always very grateful to him for that. So it's all little things, Scott, and it's to try and get the little things right, and then usually the big things look after themselves if and fall into place if the little things are right.
Aiden, I speak on behalf of the American media, the worldwide media. We're always so gracious of the time that you give us, given your busy schedule and everything that you've going on in these days, and it's always great to have you here in America.
Thanks, I really appreciate it, Scott. Thanks very much.
So there's his Breeders' Cup record, 20 wins, tied with the great D. Wayne Lucas for most ever. He holds the worldwide record most greater Group 1 wins in a calendar year with 28 back in 2017. He's at 25 right now, so he could best that here at Breeders' Cup. He's won the Breeders' Cup Turf and Juvenile Turf 7 times apiece, the Juvenile Fillies Turf twice, Breeders' Cup Mile, the Juvenile Filly Mare Turf, and the Marathon once, as he's won 3 Breeders' Cup races in 2022, and his top wins including High Chaparral, Johannesburg, Magician, Found, and Auguste Rodin.
His lone dirt win in the Juvenile with Johannesburg way back in the day.
It was like 2001 or 2002, something like that? Yeah. It was a while back. Andy Biancone is known to ride with only one glove. Actually, she's not known to. She just did that one time. We have the reason why. More from Andy Biancone's handwear when we return.
Elegance is an attitude.
Calling all!
Calling all!
Calling all! Trillionaires!
Calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all, trillionaires,
Come and join a club that has rewards for everyone. I'm talking birthday perks, free daily game, and other stuff that's fun.
Designed for people who love thrills like me and her and him, and with a weekly bonus pack, our thrills are filled up to the brim. Can you thrill me?
Yeah, because this will be like the most amount of pure glee that ya
Ever gonna get from rewards that start day one.
So we're calling all, calling all, calling all. Trillionaires, calling all, calling all. Calling all, trillionaires, calling all, calling all, calling all. Trillionaires, calling all, calling all.
Calling all trillionaires. FanDuel Casino.
Welcome to the 2025 Keeneland September Yearling Sale, where history was made when Three Chimneys Gunrunner, the sire of 2025 Grade 1 winners Sierra Leone, Locked, and Brent, became the first horse in the history of the Keeneland September Sale to sire the session topper of each of the first 4 sessions. Among them was the $3.3 million sale topper, purchased by Peter Brent, M.V. Magner, and Winchell Thoroughbreds. Gunrunner, Breed Shaper, Dream Maker.
Literally the day the postseason started, he went out.
Well, Percy Barr is walking behind us, and Ben Goldbrook, what did you see? What did she do this morning?
She galloped, and then she stood in the gate, and she was good standing in the gate and galloped perfect. I really was happy with the way she trained. Thought she looked great.
For a young horse, is she the type that takes things in stride, or does she take a little bit to learn? And
No, she's the opposite. She does everything perfect since day one. She's been like, what do you want me to do? I got this. Her mind's fantastic, and I think that's a big attribute for a young filly.
That said, talk a little about her progression, because to me it seems she's gotten a little bit out of every race and taken a step forward each time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with the race in Saratoga, Leone came back and he said, man, she got tired today. And she had never gotten tired, I think. You know, first race 4.5, that wasn't really a fitness. That was more of just a, you know, kind of, she just ran for about a quarter of a mile because, you know, she got kind of shuffled back and then made this big run. And she kind of won the debutante so easily. Then she had a real race in Saratoga that tightened her up. And then obviously I thought she really progressed at Keeneland around 2 turns because she showed the ability to run the bends so well. You know, she's a very athletic filly and a good mover. So I think the 2 turns really helped. So yes, I totally agree that she's improved every race.
Obviously, no one wants to have the outcome of what happened in her most recent start.
Right.
But what was your takeaway from the race? What do you feel she did get out of the race?
Well, the good news for her is she thinks she won. Right. So, you know, the outrider took her back. She got to walk around out on the track. And so we didn't tell her she got taken down, so she still doesn't know.
In terms of the name, I know there's a pretty big rooting section back in Kentucky. Just tell us what the name signifies.
So Percy was a famous, you know, bartender that worked 47 years at Keeneland, and he was always like a guy that if he knew the racetrackers, he'd have your beer sitting up on the counter as soon as he saw you walk, no matter how long the line was. And he was just a famous guy at the racetrack, you know, one of those old racetrack characters. So, you know, it was great Gatewood got the name, and it's turned out to be such a fantastic horse.
And for you, this experience coming in with a filly who you've always thought could do it?
Yeah. And I mean, we've always thought she was very nice, and each time she's kind of exceeded our expectations. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Hopefully the ride continues.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ben Colebrook and Percy's Bar, and should she be successful in the juvenile fillies, they will be lining up at the bar deep.
All right. Sounds like a party. I want to be with them when they cross the finish line
Better
first.
believe it. I tell you what, she has a really good shot, too. I mean, they alluded to it. She's improved just about every single start, and I like the fact that Ben Colebrook said she doesn't know that she got taken down.
Yeah,
you know?
Very true. Earlier today, we've got a lot that we couldn't get to you on the show, but we wanted to get you this as Andy Biancone caught up with young trainer Miguel Clement.
Well, Miguel Clement is no stranger to the Breeders' Cup and no stranger to winning Grade 1 races, but this is the first time he will be in charge of the Clement Brigade. Miguel, first and foremost, congratulations on a huge summer up in Saratoga. I see we have Tawny Port and Intricate Spirit relaxing in their stalls here, but who else do we have left to train this morning?
We also have Botas and Beleza, as well as Breathaway, who's running in the undercard, so it's very much exciting.
Tell me a little something about each of your horses here.
Well, listen, it's a fun group. We only brought the ones we thought would be competitive. We had several others who qualified to run the Breeders' Cup. We elected not to bring them. I think these are the 5 that are probably trained the best going into the big race. So it's exciting. It's exciting nonetheless.
Now, obviously, your dad, Kristoff, one of the most influential people in racing, really shaped the sport for the better. In terms of you taking over his operation, are there any things that you've changed about his training style with your own horses?
No one will be able to replace the boss. So it's very much the same philosophy, ideology that he put in place. And we have a great team, and it's been working, so just try to do the same.
Was that a very difficult transition?
As you can imagine, from a human point of view, it's been emotionally taxing and tough. I was probably the luckiest in the family because I had the horses to rely on. So being kept busy is probably easier than the rest of the family. But the family stepped up in many ways to help me out. And it's been very tough, but at least the horses are providing a welcome distraction.
Miguel, fantastic job this summer. I really admire your strength, both as a friend and somebody who is a fan of your horses. But best of luck this week in the Breeders' Cup, and great job overall.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I mean, it was a story, and Kristoff kept it under wraps. Not a lot of people outside of his inner circle knew about his battle with cancer until very close to the end there. And then when he passed, it was a seamless passing of the baton of the stable to his son Miguel, who had a fantastic start to his training career.
Yeah, I think the wheels or the motion was put in place. I mean, I think Miguel ultimately was always going to take over his dad's operation, but I don't think they planned on doing it in 2025. So the wheels were in motion, and they had time to put that plan in place, and that's why the transition has been seamless.
And I wanted you to tell us, because Kristoff Clement, we know as a trainer, but you knew him personally, and he was a big reason why you came to the States.
He's the sole reason I'm here in the United States of America, where he and I were both assistant trainers in Newmarket. He worked for Luca Comani for a long time. He came, started his own public stable here. He only had 6 horses. We talk about, Sherry DeVoe, we talk about Michael McCarthy, how they started. He was the same way. And then one winter, I left Newmarket, came and lived with him for about 4 weeks on vacation at Payson Park, and said, man, I love this. I want to come back. And he said, well, come back the next year. I'll get you a job somewhere. And he introduced me to Bill Mott. That's where I started walking horses, became a groom, foreman, assistant trainer. And I mean, for that reason, I'm ever indebted to him. That's the reason I'm here in the United States. Best move I ever made.
Well, we will miss Kristoff Clement. The sport cannot replace him. But as Miguel said, no one can replace the boss. But the Clement stable in very good hands with Miguel, and he's been doing a fantastic job. And we eagerly anticipate seeing what his horses do on the 2 days of Breeders' Cup racing. Let's check in once again with Michelle Yu.
I'm joined right now by Michael Campbell, who has Patriot Spirit. He won the Vosburg. But this has been a long journey for you. Can you bring me back to your passion for racing and what happened in the 70s?
Well, I started out as a jockey and had a very brief career. I got hurt very badly in my second year of riding. I was in the hospital for almost a year, and it took its toll, of course, But then I'd always known that I really wanted to be a trainer. My grandfather was a trainer. My father was a trainer. So I said, well, I nothing wrong with my brain. And so I worked hard. My wife worked equally as hard. And we started a small stable. And after a short time, I became a leading trainer in Cleveland. And then we decided, well, we're going to move to Chicago because we want to be a little better racing. So we moved there, and we had quite an extensive, good career there. I did, and my family certainly helped, and my 2 boys became riders. And so we've developed a good lifestyle in Chicago, but unfortunately racing left us with Arlington Park, and Hawthorne is struggling, and as a result I left, and I'm racing in other venues now, and we're been quite successful, and especially with stake horses.
And you mentioned that you have sons, twin boys, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I certainly do.
And one of them rode your first Breeders' Cup starter. Is that also a true story?
True story.
Thank you, Google.
It was a great family experience. I had a little hard luck in that race. We were in the 1 hole. You see all these people gasp when they get the 1 hole. Well, I was one of them, but we got over that, and we're back to do a little better. And I think we got a little better chance this time. This horse is really really good, really fast, and he's very capable. So we're looking forward to a big effort.
I feel like sometimes this horse might be his own worst enemy. He looks like he's needed to develop mentally in a couple of his races.
Wow, that's very sharp. Yes, he did. He was a product of the sales, and I think they're programmed a certain way to speed, and And he was the kind of horse, he just grabbed the bit and he was going to be in front of those horses no matter what. But they can't do that with good competition. They have to learn to adjust and compromise, listen to the rider, and relax and rate a little bit. And he had a very difficult time doing that, but ultimately he did learn.
And now that he's learned, is he easier to shut on and off and to get that perfect trip out of him? Is that what's helped attribute to things like winning the Vosburg?
Mm-hmm. It certainly did. I would say this, that it takes an awfully good rider to ride him. Javier's just got these wonderful hands. He's a Hall of Fame rider, and I was surprised at how quickly I gave him the tips. He watched past replays. But it was he that did it, and I thought he just did a remarkable job just talking with his hands to the horse.
How is this trip to Breeders' Cup different than your first trip to Breeders' Cup?
I got a better horse.
That makes a lot of difference, right?
It certainly does, yes.
Well, I appreciate the time. Best of luck with you in Patriot Spirit.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you. Thank you, FanDuel.
Don Little of Centennial Farms with Antiquarian carrying the banner in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Exciting times for you.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's been 10 years since we've been in our last Breeders' Cup, but it's exciting to have a son of a Grade 1 winner that we also campaigned, preservationists, and to be back here in a race like this with this quality of field is very special.
What are you seeing from him, or what are you hearing from the barn?
Well, he's just really a cool horse to watch improve. I mean, he's been, this year, every race has been getting better and better and better. He's really within himself now, mentally and physically, and I think, again, the 1.25 miles will fit him. I wish it was 1.5 miles, but he's doing super, and we expect a good performance.
Don, I mean, everybody in the game wears many hats. One of the hats you wear is Vice President for the BCCA, the Belmont Child Care Association. Really exciting work that they're doing with so many families of backstretch workers at Belmont Park. Tell us a little about it.
Well, of course, Michael Dubb had the intuition to start it, and the original building, Anna House, was built at Belmont Park and opened in 2002. And it's really been a joy to watch these children from the backstretch advance through education. We've had numerous students, if you will, children just graduate from college. There's a girl by the name of Sochi that is at Northeastern University. She's got a scholarship. We've opened a women's literacy program, which they now have, I think it's over 20 mothers of the children with English, and it's just a great, great organization. And education at young ages is so important, and it's showing, and it's just an honor to represent them here.
Working myself with the Backside Learning Center at Churchill Downs, I know how exciting and how meaningful that work can be in terms of changing the lives of backstretch workers and building and supporting the community and racing in general.
Yeah, it's really, again, exciting to see them advance through education. But the neatest thing is they all come back and give back to what they were given. And these children come back from when they're in high school and work with the kids. And we're now doing scholarship programs once they graduate from the Belmont Child Care. And it's just a great organization. I think I was just asked, they want me to be Santa or something like that. And
I think you could.
That's a good thing.
You may have to pack on a few pounds, but I think you could play the role.
Well, it's a little tough. I don't want to pack on too many pounds when you're in the polo field. The least you can have, the better. But it's great.
Hopefully, people can help support you in this effort. For more information or to make a donation, what should people do?
Well, BelmontChildCare.org is it, and always looking for support. And there's nothing better to see a smile on a child's face.
Well, we appreciate your time, and certainly a worthy organization. And best of luck with Antiquarian.
Well, we're looking for an exciting weekend and safe trips for everybody.
Thank you very much. We're getting to the end of the Breeders' Cup Breakfast Show number 6. We only have one more tomorrow, if you can believe it. We're almost at the end of this little run here.
Flies by.
Yeah, really does. There is a question, though, that the entire horse racing fandom wants to know the answer to.
What's that?
Why was Andy Biancone only wearing one glove? Andy?
Well, I asked you guys not to make me laugh while I was on the horse, and of course you had me cracking up on Lenny Lou's toughest day. She literally was dragging me the entire time. But if you were wondering why I was only galloping with a right glove, it's because I lost the left one. And if you know me, that answer tracks.
I mean,
I've seen her lose her car keys, her cell phone, her credential, her iPad, you name it. She's almost every day there's something she forgets.
The only thing I've never seen her lose is her mind.
That was gone a long time ago. We've got schoolers in the paddock right now. We have I think
Fierceness. Hold up, coming right behind us. We got Antiquarians there, but we got Fierceness, who's the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Classic, right behind us here.
Yeah, well, he was nice enough to wear a name tag. Yeah, he looks brilliant.
Bob Baffert's horses are in here as well. So we've got Pletcher and Baffert in here.
It's a lot of University of Arizona alumni.
Hey, Mike, don't get nervous. Todd's right there.
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding.
you got me jumping.
This is Nisus, who I think, Fierceness is there. Nisus coming behind us. I think he has a big shot in the dirt mile.
Yeah, this is, it's an impressive collection of horses here. They just told me I'm on camera, but I'm going to keep my my neck tilted toward Mind Frame.
How good do they look?
I don't know if we've talked about Mind Frame enough. I really don't. I think that, especially now with Sovereignty out, he is a horse. He has always had the talent. That's never been a question. I think in much the same way we were speaking of Sovereignty, because he's so late raced, I don't know that we've seen the ceiling for Mind Frame yet, which is frightening.
Oh, for sure. And it's just so unfortunate what happened in the Jockey Club last time, because that was going to be his last prep before the Breeders' Cup Classic. Very unfortunate. But, I mean, his race in the Stephen Foster I was there for at Churchill when he beat Sierra Leone. I mean, just absolute powerhouse of an effort. Ran 105 Bayer that day.
Yeah, there's a look at him, and you can see him in the silks of Rapoli. Mike Rapoli on the spot. He doesn't know who's got more talent, Mind Frame or Fierceness. Clearly, Fierceness has more accomplishment and accolades, but Mind Frame is that good.
I mean, could you imagine having these two in the same year, Simon?
That's the thing. It's both two horses in the Classic. I mean, you can't split them. Usually when an owner has two horses in the Classic, you can easily decide which one's better than the other. I don't think he can here. He's beating Sierra Leone. Probably a race shape that didn't suit Sierra Leone. I keep going back to that opening half mile because I think when that gets put up on the screen on Saturday, that tells you pretty much the chance that Sierra Leone has. They almost went 47-4 compared to the 44 in the Breeders' Cup Classic. So there's 3 lengths difference, about 3 seconds difference, about 15 lengths. So that's why they have the pacemaker.
Mind Frame has enough talent that I don't know that he could be undone by a pace scenario. I think he's that good, but we've got Antiquarian in here. We are done on day 6. We have one more breakfast at the Breeders' Cup show coming up tomorrow. It starts under the cover of darkness here as we take a look at the quiet marquee, and then the sun rises over the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club as we are truly at one of the most beautiful venues in all of sport, not just horse racing. It's the 2nd year of a 2-year run of the Breeders' Cup here at Del Mar, and we love it. As we saw horses out in force on the racetrack today, the Japanese runners putting in some real slow gallops. We had Aiden's Army making its way out to the track in single file. Sierra Leone, the defending champ. And it was a day that all started with the breaking news that Sovereignty, the Derby and Belmont and Travers winner, and the morning line favorite for the Classic would not go. But we've got plenty to look forward to that will. Thank you for joining us here on The Breakfast Show. We'll be back at it one more time tomorrow.